Hey everyone, welcome to Go Live. Sorry for keeping you waiting. You can all throw tomatoes at Asa. It's all OBS's fault.
You'll never hit me, I'm too fast.
Yeah, and then he fixed the problem. But thank you so much for joining us. Yes, finally, we are live, Tony. We are live. Thank you so much, everyone in chat, for being so patient. We have a great show for you. It's the aftermath of E3, and we want to jump straight to the source about what you guys think about how the show went, how Xbox fared, how Nintendo fared, okay, maybe not Sony, but how the show went in general. But before we go into that, let me introduce the guy who finally made the stream work, but also is the reason why the stream does work in the first place. Asa, co-founder, co-host. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm so good. That was like loads of fun. I love it when things go wrong. It's like my highlight of the week when we're supposed to start a stream and you say go, and the PC says, nah. It's just a great time. Like, I'm full of beans. Love it.
Yeah, but no, you made it work. Thank you so much. And we're repping the was it Control T? The Control T. This is for the discerning gamer who games on all platforms. It's the antithesis to the source. I'm wearing both because I'm a bit schizophrenic. But yeah, check out our merch on GameOnDaily.store if you want to create some memes and dank source. No, wait, that doesn't sound right. But before we go into tackling the topics, let me introduce some gents, two of which are actually making their debut on the show. Firstly, in no particular order. Actually,
I love it when you do that.
Huh?
I love the no particular order. It makes it really easy for me to manage the stream. Go on, carry on.
I'm sorry, Asa. I'll go slowly so you have time. Well, I'll give you clues. Both of us had the pleasure of being joined by this gentleman's excellent show for Midway Mix-Up, aka Wandering Dutch. Thank you so much for coming on, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm not bad. It's great to be here. Really enjoy the shows when I watch them myself, so it's nice to be on and eventually get into the post E3 discussion. I haven't been on any shows since that went live, and I did my own show, so I can't wait to jump into this discussion today.
It's good, though. It's good that you haven't had a chance to speak about it. We're going to get a fresh perspective on how your views are on how the proceedings went, because it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And the second gentleman, we had the pleasure of being together in Mr. Boomstick's show. Shout out to Boom and Breakfast with Boom. Mr. BitCloud Gaming, how are you doing, sir?
Doing just good. How you guys doing?
Nice good, man. My pleasure to have you on, man. If I correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a more PlayStation centric gamer. I've been looking at your channel and stuff.
Yeah, more
and that's good. Yeah, we desperately need some more PlayStation heads here because it's skewed one way. But I want to get your views on E3 as well, especially as a PlayStation gamer. What your views are? I know you're gaming all platforms, but that's your preference, and that's good to. It's going to be good. It's going to be wicked to get mix of sauce here, ladies and gentlemen. And last but certainly not least is my brother from another mother, aka Mad Fun Speculation, back on the show. Always love having you on, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, dude. I have had a chance to talk about E3 a few times, but I am not done. I'm still excited to talk about E3 because it was pretty cool, especially if you prefer to play on Xbox. It was amazing, and this is, I think, my third time being here with you guys. So, dude, I'm feeling more comfortable, being here. I'm just gonna reserve a seat and just start rating your guys' show whenever I feel like it.
Do it.
I freaking love it, man. Dutch, it's awesome to be here with Dutch as well, and also BitCloud Gaming, dude. I don't think I've ever had the chance to be on a show with BitCloud before, so this is gonna be fun, dude. Let's get to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into it. Mav, by the way, did an excellent video. Fun Speculation is the channel name, about how everyone's predictions run at E3. Some of them came right, some of them came wrong. It'll be very interesting to see what people said. Hey, I didn't fare too badly in this one, Asa.
Okay.
Yeah,
You definitely did better than Asa. You know.
I mean, Asa's prediction of Jim Ryan or anybody busting through the wall in a truck didn't come through.
Yeah.
that was one. Where,
Unfortunately.
that would have been amazing. That would have made my E3. But unfortunately, that did not happen. There was a super chat early before the show started. Apologies, I don't know who did that. But if you want to paste that comment, I will read it back again. This was quite some time ago. Dodge Knight, thank you so much for the £5, man. He goes, why are Gaz and Asa dressed like they are members of E17? What the hell is E17?
So's Mav, Asa, and yourself.
Yeah, all white.
All white.
Repping the new Control T. Caitlin, thank you so much for coming here to rep her husband. When I was a kid, I dreamed of being slimed by Nickelodeon. Now I want to be sourced by Fun Speculation.
Oh my god. No comment.
Wow.
Thanks, baby.
Yes, unlike Nickelodeon, that was a pretty adult comment, but we pass no judgment. They are married, so it's all kosher or halal or whatever you want to call it. But thank you so much, Caitlin, for that super chat. I still have no idea what that was about. But yeah, we're gonna jump into the topics. I want to get into the general perception of things. We have to start off with the dust has settled now, and I'm going to talk about the media's take on things as well with you guys. But to me, and I maintain this always, us lot, the core gamers, you guys in the chat, those are the opinions that matter. So those are the opinions I value, and that's why I'm way more interested in what you guys think about what E3 was like, how everyone fared at E3. Dutch, you haven't had a chance to speak about it publicly yet. This is your first chance to do it. What was your take generally on how E3 was this year?
E3 as a whole, if it wasn't for the Xbox Bethesda showcase, and this isn't just coming from an Xbox fan, but if it wasn't for that showcase, it wouldn't have done very well at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole, if like us, obviously yourselves were part of the media section, what was that? Like,
Yeah, it's
what was the point? What was the point? There was nothing there.
Yeah.
That was useless. It was just absolutely to the end. And the creator part, you'd sign up as a creator, which should have been easier.
Yeah.
But no, it was actually much easier to get a media pass than it was to get a creator pass, which just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But as a showcase as a whole, it was just, God, we streamed the Ubisoft conference, and that was just bad.
Terrible.
That was so bad.
Yeah.
Like, there was just nothing. I thought they would have took that moment to really jump in and think, right, okay, let's take this by the horns. We've showed off quite a few games this year already. We've done really well, so I was expecting a couple of expansions for the games that have released. But then what? Then.
Do you know though? That's but Ubisoft went first. I think if they'd gone last and you'd already seen what Capcom and Square Enix and everybody else brought along, maybe you would have been a little bit more forgiving on Ubisoft once the standard had been set like down there.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, I know. But then Nintendo kind of set a really bad precedent at the very end and just decided, by the way, you can do a live reaction, but no video or music, just voice, just you.
That's terrible, man. I don't know what Nintendo did with that.
How can anybody react to that? Then the audience that you've got are just watching you going, that looks good.
Yeah.
What looks good?
Why did they do that? I have no idea.
No idea.
What is it? Yeah.
But no, like I say, thankfully, and a lot of people didn't know, Take-Two wasn't a gaming conference. That was more about kind of the broader spectrum of gaming and inclusivity and things like that. And I think a lot of people didn't realize that, so they turned in thinking they're going to see GTA 6.
Yeah.
It was like, no, you want to turn that off. It's got nothing interesting. Capcom again, that wasn't anything worthwhile. And Square Enix, that was a poor showing. The games that they showed, what was going on?
Oh,
The
that's
quality of those games was shocking.
Two of
was
them look
shocking.
like the same game.
Yeah.
yeah. I was going to say that right at the end, they're back to back as well. It was
Yeah.
like, is this the same game?
I had deja vu when I was watching it, and both of the deja vus were disappointing.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, even though people say kind of E3 is pretty much dying on its feet, they attempted to do it, but they also have a point in which if Xbox Bethesda wasn't there this year to really get a grip of that show or that event at a whole, that would have been an absolute whitewash. Like that whole thing would have just been
they've
shocking.
been known as one of the worst E3s ever in history.
It
Or
would.
if it wasn't for Xbox, in my opinion, if it wasn't for Xbox saved E3. Well, for me anyway. But I mean, what? Come on. Well, we're going to go into that. But what did you think, Dutch? And I'm going to get the gents' view on this as well. Well, how do you think Xbox fared at E3? Xbox, we know saved E3. I'm saying Xbox saved E3. You might not agree with me, but how did your Xbox fare in terms of your expectations and what they needed to do?
Vastly overshot what I expected them to do.
Okay, interesting.
Because I had very grounded. You've got to base it on previous, and you're always only as good as your last show. And last show, what they needed to do was bring in not only just show off new IPs, but bring games and gameplay and release dates, which was the key thing.
Yeah,
We needed release dates for these games, or at least most of these games. And the one thing they did was give release dates, whether or not they're within the next couple of months or next year. They give release dates for those, and only a handful of them were like, okay, this is a bit further out. But then the vast majority had release dates, which was perfect.
Yeah.
But the overall format, the way they showed the games, the fact that there was just little to no talking at all throughout the entire conference, and it was just like
Perfect format. Format is perfect. A format
absolutely brilliant. And they didn't, even when they had people on, it was just like, yeah, this is me, this is what we're doing, and this is what we're going to show. See you later.
Perfect. Xbox, if you're listening to that, like literally what you did, perfect. Just stick to that. Just stick to that.
Stick to that.
Are you saying, Gaz, that you want E3 to die?
No, I do not want E3 to die.
This is just like, I'm sure we'll dig into this more later, but if you want to just stick to that format, that would be the death of E3, because E3 is an in-person event. So you're basically saying you want them to...
This is the thing. Xbox, I was going to say, because this is the thing, Xbox themselves have their own fan fest, and usually at these events, they create a big deal about it. And the brilliant thing about E3, and I think if it was an in-person event, having the fans there might have made a little bit more of a difference to it.
The noise and all the scream, like our reaction to Halo Infinite would have gone crazy. You think that you can work that format in with an in-person event? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and Forza. Oh, look what I just found in my pocket. so I literally just found it in my pocket. Hey, look at that. That looks sick. But yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, honestly, it would. It would definitely. I don't think that precludes from we'll talk about that later. I mean, I'm keen to get BitCloud's view on this. You're a PlayStation guy, and PlayStation World there. So, how do you view Xbox's performance at E3 generally?
So, you want me to start with the whole show, or you want me to just go with Xbox?
I want to get your view on Xbox generally.
So, Microsoft they had like this trend where you go in there with high expectations, you would expect a lot, right? And then you kind of just walked away like underwhelmed.
All the time.
This time around, even though they told us to lower your expectations, I thought they did do a good job this time around. So it was a lot of better announcements. Redfall looked really interesting. I was really interested in that at the end of the show. They showed a lot of release dates, which was smart. Obviously, Halo looked better. The multiplayer looks like it's going to be great. Yeah. So it was a lot of good announcements. Battlefield blew my mind. I'm not even a Battlefield head like that, but Battlefield really blew my mind. And it's crazy because I compared that to all the other shows. Like at first, I thought, I don't know, man. Maybe Ubisoft, maybe another company is gonna steal this entire show. Ubisoft pissed me off.
Honestly.
Yeah, I walked into the Ubisoft show. Yeah, I don't know, something. I don't know, original. Everything about Ubisoft is so formulaic. Like you go in and you're expecting something for Assassin's Creed, right? You're expecting something for Just Dance. Lo and behold, 5 minutes to this conference, Just Dance.
Oh, Just
Assassin's Creed,
I
Assassin's
love that
Creed
game.
DLC. It's like, what are you
The
doing?
amount of time they spent on that guitar thing as well. It was
Oh my
Yeah,
supposed to be a
Rocksmith.
mobile app.
Yeah,
Rocksmith.
Rocksmith. I'm like, I thought we were done with this. So like at this point, what are you trying to bring back? DJ Hero? Are you trying to bring back Guitar Hero? Like what's going on here? But they did that. There's no info on Beyond Good and Evil. I don't know if y'all remember that game. No info for that. Skull
It's
and
imaginary.
Bones. Yeah. Skull and Bones. That game I guess got canceled. I'm guessing there's no info on that. I mean, what's going on at Ubisoft? Like what's happening here? There's nothing.
They did show another game that's going to get cancelled. That's Avatar.
I don't even think the funny thing about Avatar. I already know that's not going to get canceled because they're going to launch that with the movie. You know, it's a movie license game. They always go out their way to. They don't even care if it works. They just throw it out there because it's with the movie. They'll ride the coattails of the movie. But there's that Ubisoft disappointing. God, a lot of these other shows I watched later because I didn't even bother streaming. Like Nintendo. Let me tell you, man. People were saying Nintendo won. I don't know what conference they were watching. I really don't. But Nintendo already angered me going into that show. They was like, "Hey guys, all content creators, don't stream our show." I'm like,
that's a great way to start.
like, wow, okay, wait, just get on my good, And at this point, they end the show with Breath of the Wild 2, and I'm looking at Breath of the Wild 2, and I'm sitting, and I actually angered some people when I said this, but it's actually the truth though. You can't tell the difference, right? Breath of the Wild 2 looked exactly like the first one on Wii U. It looks exactly like. So I'm like, what is so different here? But y'all like, oh, this is crazy. I'm like, okay, where's Bayonetta 3? Where's Metroid Prime 4? You got the side-scroller one, which is fine, but where's Metroid Prime? Where's Donkey Kong? Where's the announcer for this type of stuff? They announced Kazuya for Smash Brothers, which is cool.
That's cool.
Man, that was cool. But I'm like, nobody really had the energy, you know what I mean? Or stuff that really appealed to me personally, like Xbox. Like even that cool transition with Forza, where like you saw the mountains and everything, and then it shot to the cars. I was like, oh, that's cool. That looked good. I kept saying that on the stream. I was like, oh, that looked good. That looks really, really good. The ray tracing, the reflection. So, it was good. Of course, everybody's tech experts. They're like, oh, yeah, it's 30 frames. But then they announced it was 60. I'm like, I mean, why would it not be 60 frames? But
I think people are... What? See, actually, Sillet Bang, great name, by the way, after the detergent can't talk. What the hell? Someone just left some nasty message, but Dodge Knight... Dodge Knight tackled that. But Sillet Bang says, where'd it go? Sorry, I think it just got disappeared. Yeah, Beyond the Good and Evil. There, you mentioned that, Big Cloud. What the hell's going on with Beyond Good and Evil 2? Because is it dead at this point? Because...
We saw a gameplay of it was like a couple of years ago. We saw like a leaked gameplay. It's like a small snippet. So I thought maybe they would be in a better state, but I guess not. That game is just quiet. There's no info on it, so it's.
It's not dead.
Like Skull and Bones. I'm pretty sure Skull and Bones is dead. I haven't heard nothing for that game. You just announced. Yeah, they just announced their deal with Disney with Sea of Thieves, and that's still getting support. And I'm like, well, I mean, Ubisoft, you're missing your chance to quote unquote destroy Sea of Thieves with this game. You haven't announced any announcement for it, so it's.
Yeah, Ubisoft. There's something going on at Ubisoft. I don't think there's some major reshuffles happening. I'm hearing some whispers, but I don't know what's happening with the games because Beyond Good and Evil 2 is the one everyone got hyped about. I don't know what's happening. Mav, aka Fun Speculations. Talk to me, Mara. How are you? Were you excited with were you happy with the Xbox conference first?
So yes.
And that's the show. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.
I went into that with pretty high expectations because I do get excited about these things, right? But I've never been one that gets like overly disappointed because I still kind of try and appreciate what we did get to see. This time, a lot of people kept saying Xbox needs to do this, Xbox needs to do that, Halo needs to do this, Halo needs to do that. We need to see this, and it's like we actually got like everything that everybody said, plus more. You know what I mean? The only people that are really disappointed are either like if you just want to be a hater, or you were just so focused on one thing that you didn't get to see that killed the whole show for you. If you actually took this in and like just tried to say, okay, I'm going to judge this based on everything that they showed me. There was something for everybody. And not only did they make something for everybody with all of the variety, everything going into Game Pass, showing like the barrier to entry of all of this content is extremely low.
Yeah.
Not only did they do that, they also proved themselves with graphics, which was another thing that people kept hating on Xbox. Well, they can't, they don't really have great looking games. They don't have this or that, But man, if you go and actually, even the Halo Infinite multiplayer trailer, if you watch that back in 4K and you pause the screen when those Spartans are running across, the level of detail on these freaking multiplayer characters is absolutely insane. You can see the worn leather on their gloves going to the texture on the fingertips and like the scratches in the armor, the reflections on the visor. All of these things are just absolutely insane with detail. And then you go to Forza Horizon 5 and Flight Simulator, things that look like freaking pictures, right? They tricked us. They actually freaking tricked us into thinking they were just showing an image of Mexico with the little riverbed, right? And then a car goes by, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is real life. Like, I have to be careful with words because, people know I'm a big Xbox guy, right? I do like to play on all platforms, but the graphics I saw out of the Xbox showcase was the best graphics I've ever seen in anything, period, for video games.
Well, if it looks like real life and it fools all of us,
exactly.
How many games have done that this generation? I can't think of any game that has done what Forza did. Because we were watching it together and we sat there and like, okay, he's talking about Mexico. What the hell? Wait a minute, that's in game? And that was pretty much the big thing is Forza won game of the show, and that's a big surprise because Forza Horizon for a racing game. And a big part of the reason why I think it won is because of the visuals of it. Xbox says this Xbox Series X is the most powerful next-gen console, yet for ages we've been dying to see something that it can do. And this is a cross-gen game, by the way, as well. So for it to win
Horizon
that prize,
as well.
Horizon as well.
The funny thing about it is, though, again, nobody wants to give credit in this community. It feels like everybody just wants to stay lopsided with one thing. Like it's again, Sony wasn't there. All of a sudden, everybody's got this crazy stock in Nintendo. Like Nintendo showed this amazing stuff. I'm like, no, like stop. Just call out it is. They had a better show. Now, again, will this continue? I hope so. The biggest thing for Microsoft is their presentation. Like with E3, that's the only thing they got to really focus on. If this is the format, I think they nailed the format, and I think they got it. Less talking, just straight games. I don't like cringe moments where you're talking and talking about, oh, we're going to eat a brain like they did on that old show. I forgot what it was called. Was it Inside Xbox? What was it called?
Oh, man. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah, guys, we got Mortal Kombat DLC. Let's eat this brain. I'm like, guys, no, don't do that. So I think they understand that.
Yeah, no, oh, God, Inside Xbox. Let's not talk about that. It was just giving me some PTSD remembering that show. Dar's like, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. A special shout out to those clowns who were flexing on Forza Horizon 5 at 4K 30 narrative. Yeah, some people really jumped on that.
Can I respond to this, guys, real quick?
Dodge also jumped on Ratchet and Clank thinking the same thing, and then he got slapped around. Dodge, behave, because you're guilty there. But Mav, jump on that. 4K 30, what's he say?
All right, so there was a report from Windows Central from actually the devs that said this game was targeting 4K 30 with ray tracing in Forza Vista mode, right?
Yeah.
So that's why everybody took this from. But they did say there was going to be a 60 frames performance mode. So I was like, okay, everybody's like, what's the performance mode going to be? Because they didn't clarify that, right? So that's what the concern was. Like, even I was like, why are you even like going for 30 at all? You know what I mean? It just like doesn't make sense why you'd even make that something, because nobody wants to play racing games at 30 frames when in a 60 frames day and age, right? And so, but I get why they were doing it, because guess what everybody's going to be doing is they're going to be putting it in that quality mode, and they're going to be going around taking pictures, and they're going to be sharing that. And you know how much that's going to sell the game with getting that ultra photorealistic graphics?
Oh man!
The thing that made me happy was they went and clarified shortly after people were freaking out, including me. I was like, hey, what's going on with this? They did say the performance mode was going to be 4K 60. So that's what had everybody. So it's just going to drop some of the detail a little bit, probably on like the ultra realism. I'm assuming something like that. So that made me happy. So
that's why I said
you're going to get best
the
of
other
both
day.
worlds.
That's why I said the other day the 30 frames per second mode. It's like the modern day bullshot. You don't play in that mode. It's just for screenshots, right?
Yeah.
I played.
That's what
Ratchet.
sells. Everybody's going to share that stuff, right? With especially with racing games, like what always got spread around in the racing game community, is what looks better, what's more realistic looking, Forza, Gran Turismo. You know what I mean? Everybody would share and compare these screenshots. Now you're going to be comparing that 4K 30 with mode in Horizon 5, which if you base it based on what we saw in that trailer is going to be pretty incredible.
Well, I was going to say it's completely incomparable to Gran Turismo as well. One of them's a track-based simulator, the other one's an open world.
That's true, dude.
If you
to get that in an open world,
Forza Motorsport is next gen only.
That's the scary part. The scary part. In terms of visuals, that is a next gen only game and is closed.
And it's on the new Forza Tech engine. This one isn't. Forza Horizon 5 is on the old Forza Tech engine.
It is. It's interesting that you mentioned realism, though, because the previous Forza Horizon games had quite a saturated color palette. Like they weren't necessarily aiming for pure realism, whereas this one is very much going for the photo. Now that they can.
That's why I found that interesting. It's why I didn't expect Forza Horizon to wow me visually, because they don't have that. You're right. They go for their different kind of color palette because they're not going for that. They're going for the festival vibe. It's very different. But for them to pull off real, and Forza Motorsport's going to take it. You can count on it. It's going to take it to a whole different level. I can't wait. The thing that's quite interesting to me, Playground, is such a good acquisition, and a lot of people are saying this. And the aftermath of how good Forza Horizon looks, can you imagine what they will do with Fable and that?
Oh yeah, that Forza Tech engine is insane.
Yeah,
that is insane. And I'm hyped about Fable now. So hyped based on what I saw on Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah.
These guys are ridiculously talented. When's the release date out for that game for Forza? I don't remember now.
9th November.
9th November. Oh, okay. So, man, times are stacked because we're going to have Halo, we're going to have Battlefield, and we're going to have bloody Forza. This Xbox has too many games.
Flight Sim in July.
Far Cry 6.
Mm-hmm. They got Dying Light 2 to look out for.
Dying Light 2. It's crazy. Bitla, I want to get your view on this, where this narrative has been building up for. One, wait for E3. Like this thing about Xbox, wait for E3. Is that meme dead? That wait for E3?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah,
they got games. The Bethesda purchase really showed that this is the best purchase they made in a long time. So you know you're gonna get quality. This deal. The thing about Microsoft, I even said this to you on Boom Show. The thing Microsoft has to really work out, or focus on with Bethesda, is their quality control when these games drop. That's the only thing that they have to look out for with these Bethesda games. Other than that, it's pretty much set in stone. They got their own studios that can push out these good games, and this is good because this takes pressure off of Halo, Gears, and Forza, and those games can actually get even more time for even polish, proper feedback for better changes if needed. You know what I mean? And that type of stuff will happen. And so it's good for now, but it's really good. That's the good thing about it. I walked away from this, I was like, damn, what they showed was good, and we still have Hellblade 2. You still got so many other games like Avowed. You have Everwild, which looked good too. So there's a lot of stuff to look out for. Yeah, you still got a lot of stuff. Even though they reset it, they scrapped that and went back. But that's good. They have time. They have time for it now because they have all these other projects. So it's good for them.
So that's a good point that you mentioned there about this whole thing about easing pressure off the big mainline titles.
Oh yeah, for years. That's why, again, it goes back to Ubisoft being formulaic, right? You just know what to expect. So that's why everybody said wait to E3 for the same 3 games, Halo, Gears, and Forza. So it's literally the same thing. But this time around, I see change. I see they're actually, focused on it. There was one opportunity that I thought they really were going to announce. I thought that was going to be like the big mic drop moment. You remember the big rumor going around that Battlefield was supposedly going to be day one with Game Pass?
Yeah.
They did not do that. They did that. I was like, okay, they just killed Call of Duty, because Call of Duty, that's the pressure that Call of Duty needs on its neck right now if they really want to get that franchise to actually evolve instead of just, improve graphically. But yeah, that's about it.
That's a shame though, because Battlefield, you're right. Call of Duty, in order to really get it on its knees, you need Battlefield to really go for it. This is the way to do it, especially when it's got a $70 price tag and it's got a battle pass and it's multiplayer only. Apparently that matters to everyone. We don't care about single player only games. yeah, you're absolutely right there. There are some things they missed. There's some things they missed in that show.
I mean, David said maybe they'll wait for the pre-orders to go out. Maybe they don't want to stale the pre-orders, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like at a moment like this, like a show like this, usually you announce something that massive there. I mean, they already dropped the bombshell with Back for Blood.
I was going to say, I think they missed maybe one thing that I think a lot of people didn't pick up on as well, is the fact that Contraband's announcement.
Yeah.
At the same time, at the very beginning of that announcement, it said Xbox Game Studios.
And then it said in partnership. Yeah. So it said in partnership with Avalanche. Yeah. In partnership with. And that kind of, the people must have seen that, the insiders must have seen that and thought, that's it, Avalanche is being acquired. But that's what it was. It seems like the insiders had some early access to some footage, because that came out of nowhere, because we were being told this. We even were told what the premise of the game was. It's a heist game based in the 70s. It's co-op, open world. But yeah, something went awry there. But in terms of that Battlefield deal, maybe they're still in these deals aren't. They're quite complicated. So maybe it might take some time, or there may be some things. But I'm like you, Big Cloud. I think that ship may have sailed on that one.
But Battlefield, I mean, it would have been smart if you really want to go after COD.
I need COD needs that pressure. Yeah, exactly.
COD's never been involved.
The fact that I mean, if Battlefield kind of needs to have some kind of easy gateway to it as well. Granted, based on that trailer, I pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
So there's one thing. But you've got Halo going into free to play now.
Yeah.
I mean, the new Call of Duty needs, obviously, if they're going to continue with Warzone forever, it still needs to improve somehow.
I mean, they're talking about 100+ players on a map. Call of Duty still doing what was it, 2020 now? 20?
Yeah, but Call of Duty is like immune to pressure, and it always has been. Otherwise, Titanfall would have killed it years ago.
Yeah. That's true. One thing that's been doing the rounds, basically, Starfield. I want to talk about quickly, get your guys' opinions on Starfield. Mav, Starfield is something we talked about. We've been talking about actually before we keep the E3 on our show with you. We talked about it and what we thought was going to happen. We were going to get a release date, which we did. I was right about. We were going to get a release date. It was just pure guesswork. Based on what you said to me, which is that they typically give the release dates when they show games, right? So that's true. And it's 22, sorry.
11/11/22.
22, yeah. The game, to me, like a lot of people were saying...
Gaz, is that English or American date?
Oh, it's American Day, 11. That's the same thing, man. What are you talking about? You're such a muppet. You're such a want to call me out on that. Yeah. I'm like, the American one. Oh, wait, but it's the same thing. He's such a muppet.
Now everyone's seeing Gaz's processing face.
Like, it's on my processing face. It's like Internet Explorer connecting thing. Yes, it's 11/11/21/22 everywhere. But I'm hyped about it based on the trailer. Some people said, "Oh, they should have shown more gameplay." To me, because it's in-engine, I was very impressed. I was very, very impressed. I'm now really hyped about the game. I'm not typically someone who gets really easily hyped about things like this, but I really like what Starfield is going for, Mav. This hard sci-fi vibe that we're getting seems like and apparently it's been 25 years in the making. There's something that they're cooking up here. What do you expect Starfield to be? And how hyped are you for this game?
Yeah, I've been hyped ever since I found out they were doing it, because I've known what it's going to be ever since then. And that's one of the things when people were kind of like, "Hey, why is people excited about this game? Because like we don't know what it is," and they're just thinking about Fallout 76 and stuff like that. But the teams that are making this are responsible for Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind. That's who's making this game, right? It's a single player experience, and they have told us this before, right? So this is what we kind of talked about last time, and I have been pumped for this. Now to see it come out and look like that, oh man, you know what I mean? Dude.
Were you happy with the visuals? Were you impressed with it?
The whole aesthetic is just amazing, because it's unique, right? I can't look at I don't see Starfield and immediately think of any other space exploration franchise. I look at it and it looks uniquely Starfield, right? And that takes a
Exactly.
lot of work into doing that. They didn't make it look like Star Trek. They didn't make it look like Star Wars, but they made it look like Starfield. And that's what you want to do with like a franchise like this when you're trying to grow this universe and make something to where you can, okay, this is the base, and now in the future we may do something else, and that they're creating a whole universe here, right?
The main
And
character
that
looks
goes-
like the character from Returnal, by the way. Colt is right. Colt told me this.
it
She
does,
looks like
yeah.
from a little bit that you can see. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
But it looks like it's grounded in like a reality type.
That's what
you
they've
know
said.
what I mean?
They've said that.
And they also went and described this. He said like think Skyrim in space, and he said like Han Solo simulator. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that sounds amazing. That's like the nerd dream, man. Han Solo in space, set in hard sci-fi. It's like getting my juices flowing. That sounds weird.
Yeah, I mean, you take this studios that are responsible for making something like Skyrim, which is still one of the pillars of gaming as far as one of the games that sold most ever, right? And it's been sold so many times over and over and over again on multiple devices. That kind of storytelling and that kind of a world fleshed out, but you're taking it to multiple planets, you're taking it to the stars, and I'm super pumped for what this is going to be. Is it going to launch with bugs? Yes. You know what I mean? Just Bethesda is so ambitious. It's like one thing like people always say with these games is like, okay, you need to launch with 0 bugs, right? But at also you have to think about it at the cost of ambition, right? Because when you make something so crazy and beyond anything that's been made before, possibly, it's just impossible with how big these games are to not have some problems and bugs in there. And in order to make a game not have any of that, you almost have to play it safe. You know what I mean? And so it's okay sometimes to push that boundary, and that's a good thing. We know we do get patches and all these kind of things, but Bethesda's always been that studio that has gone really big with their single player RPGs, and that's what's made them special, right? So Fallout 76 is a different story, right? The online thing, so I want to see this go ambitious. I want to see stuff I've never done before in a video game.
Yeah.
And I want that great story experience I get from a Bethesda game. So I'm pumped.
I'm pumped as well. You're getting me pumped just based on the way you described that. But yeah, I'm super hyped. JD Gamer, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, man. He goes, I don't think Xbox missed as much as they can now be strategic for the first time, and they are anticipating a Sony response, so they still have a lot of bullets in the chamber, while PlayStations will be limited. I will get into actually, it's a good point, and I want to talk to you about that bit, Cloud, as well, about what the Sony response to this as well, if there needs to be one. Shout out to 250 plus people watching. Smash that like button. We're just starting to swim in the sauce. So let's talk about yeah, Dutch. What did you think about Starfield? How hyped are you?
First, I'm not because I don't get hyped until I've seen a little bit more of it, and I know a bit more about it as well. I need to know a lot more about what goes on, including Forza. Like, even as much as I was unbelievably hyped about Forza, still haven't seen the map or cars or any activities other than the events. So I'm like, it's unbelievable. I can't wait for it, but I still don't know much about it. Starfield, on the other hand, the first thing I did notice, and I commented on this on our live reaction, was that looks like no other Bethesda game that's launched. It doesn't look like a Fallout. It doesn't look like a Skyrim. Because graphically, it looks so much above and beyond what they've done before. You can tell the new creation engine is definitely improved.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
The vibes that I was getting from it, though, were more Interstellar.
Thank you so much for saying that. That is what I want.
100%.
That is exactly what I want. Interstellar's deep sci-fi. That's what I want.
Deep sci-fi of Interstellar. That's exactly what I did, because it wasn't, like you say, it wasn't like overly futuristic. It was more like grounded, as in like maybe about 20 years from now, not too far.
Yeah.
So it's intriguing. It's intriguing, and I think the release date is good. A good time to release. If they're going to be pushing that out as a holiday release, 2022.
Yeah.
And we see gameplay kind of middle of next year, like real gameplay middle of next year, when that thing's had a little bit more time in the oven. I think that could be a big deal, a really big deal.
Timing is everything. Timing is everything with these games. It's make or break for them, and we don't know what.
I was going to say you've also got to think Xbox now have the luxury of being able to pace releases.
They didn't even have games before. Now they have the luxury, and we're basking in that luxury because of Xbox Game Pass, which really sounds too good to be true at this point. It feels theft. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. GameStop, thank you so much for the HRK25, because why is no one talking about Dolmen? I have no idea what that is. It gives vibes of Returnal and Dark Souls. For some reason, perhaps even a little bit of Metroid. Game is for the PS4 and PS5. Dolmen. It's probably... I have no idea what that is. Sorry, man. I will have to double check. Maybe there's so many games out. It's easy to miss the thing, which I kind of sympathize with game devs because the market's even more saturated than it was before. But this is why Game Pass is such a big deal. It really does enable, if you are lucky to get on the service now, which is the case now, it's like this, like devs are hoping to get on Game Pass. Then but hopefully they can thrive. What is that you're showing on stream, Asa? Is that Dolmen?
Dolmen. Mm-hmm.
That does look good.
It gives us Quake vibes, like kind of Quake vibes.
Yeah, isn't it, with the hanging bodies and stuff? But yeah, shout out, GameStop. That does look good. That looks really good. There's another PlayStation exclusive that looks so good that not many people are talking about, although they haven't shown that much about it. And it's annoying me as I forgot the name of it. And it's like a beat 'em up kind of, like it's a bit like, you'll know this is Sifu. That's it.
Sifu. Oh yeah.
Sifu looks mad. Sifu looks mad. I can't
looks
wait.
Good. I'm not sure if we're gonna get it though. Any gameplay? Probably we'll get gameplay at the Lex show. Maybe.
Yeah, definitely. But as a PlayStation guy, does it hurt that Starfield is not on PlayStation?
No. Why would it hurt?
But some people are really hurt. Some people are really hurt about it.
Well, I mean, the comparisons are hilarious. Everybody said it's Returnal 2.0 or something like that. I'm like, guys, just accept it for what it is. And it looks good. It looks good. Again, I'm with Dutch on this one. I can't really say much about it because I haven't actually seen it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing about CGI trailers in engine. They're like an expectation of what you're going to get usually, you know what I mean? Especially in engine part, like you're not really going to get all the resources like that because they have to do extra stuff when they cut away. So it's one of those things. But you got Horizon Forbidden West looks fucking amazing. So it's like, we'll find out what's up with this Starfield thing later. Was it next year? I think it launches next year. Yeah, next year,
November 2022. Sifu is playing, by the way, guys. Look, someone said PlayStation games look the same. This does not look like anything I've seen. Like the very few games that look like this.
See, comments like that always weird me out. They're like, all these games look the same, but I'm sitting there going, I see a lot of people asking for the same type of experiences. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. It's just weird to me. But it does look good. It does look good. It's hopefully it's like I said, it's only the beginning. This is the start of the generation. It's going to get a lot better, and a lot of people should be excited, not necessarily just for that one show, but for the future shows, because you're going to get more quality out the box. And that's the word that I'm happy to throw around now with Xbox, because Xbox, it just felt like you're just getting the same old bag, like that's what they were known for. It was like they were known as the Halo and Gears and Forza console. Sony was known as the console for what? Variety for PS4. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that. It was that crazy thing. Now it's changed. So it's...
I would actually argue now that the Xbox is the console for variety, because there's always the stigma with PlayStation, which although I don't think it's unfair. It's not well, actually, I don't know. Third person over the shoulder kind of that template. And there's always like a horror simulator, which it's just funny. But with what I saw at E3 was ridiculous. You had games from every genre. You had RTS, you had Age of Empires, then you had a racer, then you've got a platformer. Then you've got like Psychonauts, and there was something else, and then you've got Starfield, which is an RPG. You've got Halo, which is a first-person shooter. You've got so many co-op online games. And the one thing that's missing, the big we know Hellblade's coming, but third-person action adventure is what people are looking for to combat the PlayStation strength, which is extremely strong in that regard.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what that Indiana Jones game is going to look like. Is that going to be? Yeah, that's the real big question. Is that going to be? Is it going to take the Uncharted 4 template? Because Uncharted 4 had the rope. You got a whip and Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it could be coming for Uncharted.
It might take that. Yeah, it might take that template and might go a little extra and throw the actual true crypt findings that was in Tomb Raider. Remember those? Like, they might do something like that.
But you know what's going to be funny when that happens? People are going to say, "Oh, Indiana Jones is an Uncharted knockoff."
Even though
it's just so funny.
Even though Uncharted, again, a lot of people don't know. You're going to see the internet. The internet never fails. It never fails. Dudes think Uncharted started all. It's actually the opposite. They got it from Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider, and they even admitted that they got it from Tomb Raider. So. They said it very early days. They said that early days as well. Remember Uncharted 1? Where like Nathan Drake is modeled, or his personality is modeled after Johnny Knoxville or something like that. They said too.
Oh,
so, yeah, they said that. Amy, the woman who made it, I forgot her name. She hasn't been able to make a game since she's left Sony, which has been weird for her.
Oh yeah.
Amy Hennig.
Well, Amy Hennig, that's it. Yeah.
Amy Hennig, there you go. Amy Hennig.
Yeah. JD Gamer, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. This prediction question: what happens in a world where Xbox Game Pass is pre-installed on every PC, LG, and Samsung TV, tablet, and phone? How would we measure market share? And is that at the point that Xbox is Netflix? Now, good super chat. And I actually want to kind of talk about this a little bit. IGN did a very weird slant on this. IGN, man, what are you guys playing at, guys? Oh, IGN.
Dude.
The facade crumbles, eh? First of all, we have to talk about IGN. So we had this guy talk about, and there's IGN, what's it called? The little bite-sized thing. I don't know what they have. There's this piece where this came about. There's a big thing about Xbox is now hoping to go double down on Project xCloud. Gonna have it hopefully on USB devices pre-installed on TVs because they want to make gaming available everywhere. At the same time, they also said that they're starting development already on their next-gen consoles. IGN somehow took this and then just said, hey, Xbox is giving up on consoles. This guy wearing a PlayStation gold pendant like it was the cross sitting there saying, hey, and IGN had to cut that segment out and re-upload it. So everyone went for their jugular, including me. I'm like, what are you doing, man? This is stupid. You're IGN. Oh, I should know better. Because then later on, it turned out at the Xbox event that IGN was streaming, their live co-streaming the extended event. You could see, this is mimicking me.
This is why I do the streaming and Gaz doesn't.
On the live stream, basically, you see IGN commenting on there, partaking in the console wars, defending PlayStation. Like, it's an Xbox show. You're always going to be console warring. One, why are you there partaking in it, IGN? Two, why don't you just log out of the official account and do it from your own alt account? It's just it was silly. And then
it was bad.
It was bad. Matt, is there media bias against Xbox? Is the question I want to ask. JD, I will get back to your question though. But yeah, is there media bias against Xbox? Very saucy.
Well, obviously now. I mean, whatever we were all thinking, no, this is all in our heads. You know what I mean? They just kind of seem like that because they do. Everybody has an inherent bias.
Yeah.
Because you play something, you have a preference, right? And whenever your decisions you make, even if you try and not be biased or whatever, because you end up liking something more, that's going to come out naturally, right?
Yeah.
So that is always a thing. Now, when you're the number one media source in gaming, as they advertise themselves to be, you do have to hold yourself to at least a little bit of a standard, which based on comments that we actually saw from the, I think the editor-in-chief, is that his name, executive editor, whatever, Dan Stapleton, and also, sorry to shout out names, but I'm just having to do that here, and also what we saw in that chat, as well as the misinformation. Now, I'm not going to blame the Daily Fix guy because he's reading from a script, right? He's reading from a script that's on a teleprompter thing, and he's just doing his job, right?
Yeah.
Whoever is editing their content and giving them talking points is, I do not understand. And now you have to think about this based on Dan Stapleton's comments, based on the stuff that was going on in the chat during the Xbox stream. What are you doing? These are people watching the Xbox stream. Why are you sitting there why are you sitting there engaging in this stuff and coming out defensive, right? Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like,
well, I don't understand that. Like, who thought it was a good idea?
And it actually, because I was a huge IGN guy. That's what I always watched, right?
Okay.
Like I listened to I always had listened to Podcast Unlocked before I got involved with doing my own podcast and this whole community and all these things. But being in this community and also seeing things from the outside, kind of looking when you start to hear things, you start to know things, you get more invested into what's going on, and then you kind of hear their banter and what they're doing. It's like, man, it's like there is something going on there, and I think some people in some high up places need to take a hard look at themselves and figure out what the hell they're doing, because it's not going to work anymore, right? It worked for 7 years because it was easy, but guess what? Times are changing right now. with the whole business. So your colors are starting to be shown a little bit as far as what you were saying and how you're acting. So check yourself. Just ease it up. Play a level playing field for everybody. Right? That's the way. That's the way it should be. Especially somebody like they're getting sponsorship money from these people and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like
IGN's SEO is ridiculous. If you want to see a live show, IGN's comes first before Xbox's official show. Their SEO is mad. You can't ignore them. They are a powerhouse in the gaming space because of for history. When I asked if people thought there was a confirmation bias, people in chat quite mixed. Some people said Leo. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Leonicio Lopez Gomez says no. Jiren says yes. King Darren says no. Gunstar says yes. Duh says obviously. Duh. And Leonicio says there is confirmation bias. Maybe it's a little bit both. Before I go into that, Asa, you are a very smart, nuanced guy. You are the reasonable one, sits on the fence all day with splinters on his ass. Tell me, sir, is there a media bias? Is there just overblown? Am I just finding excuses to create the source? What's going on?
I can't pretend that I know the IGN editors as a team well enough, as a collective. So that's the thing you have to remember when you're looking at these things, is they are individuals, and IGN have 60 editors, probably more than that. Whoever was responsible for this comment shouldn't have been allowed to use the official IGN account and should never be allowed it again. Collectively, are they biased? I'm sure they've all got their own preferences. Some of them might even be pretty neutral, like myself. It is possible. I promise it is possible. That person wasn't.
Ace is the robot. He's weird. Ace is legit the only guy since I've known you for about 10 years. He's always been the most impartial guy I know. It's a weird place to be. But that's why we work together so well, right, Ace? Just gotta have the bit of sauce. Someone sauce. Scatlight, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Starfield is not in an engine or see jets in game. I think he's alluding to what you were saying, BitCloud, about it. But then BitCloud did go on to say about in-engine shots are also sometimes, often, very notoriously in misleading people as well. I've seen that before.
Look at Uncharted 4 when we first saw it. Not the gameplay, Verville, but the first where he was in the water. With the fly in his face, he's in the water. And then when you get into the gameplay reveal, a lot of people was like, that looks a little downgraded. When he was when they turned the camera and he was about the waterfall, it was that doesn't look exactly the same. But that's what a lot of people believe.
Crucified. I got crucified for saying, hey, that is not cool. That's not in game. No, that's in game. You watch it now. Even today, you watch it Uncharted 4.
You can really tell. You can really tell. It's washed out. It's lower res textures here and there. They have the character model pretty much has the same detail, right? But it's toned down in many ways, especially with lighting. You know what I mean? The settings and lighting. And the thing about PS5 and Series X, I don't really see that being much of an issue this time around. I see them being a lot more, uniform looked. So it's been proven like that. So it's a good thing about it. But again, you could tell, man. I mean, I thought we were gonna get all this with Watch Dogs. Remember the first one? And Watch Dogs came down. It was like, oh no. But never know. It was up to the developer.
It does. I remember that now. Going back in time, I did a review for Watch Dogs, and that was a big reason why I got the score. I gave it a 7. No one cares. Anyway, JD Game. I mean, I thought it was a solid score. JD Gamer, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Xbox still needs to get fighting games. Thank you so much. Killer Instinct sequel, please. Let it happen. People want it, and I think it'll do better than this time around.
Oh yeah. It'll be
Yeah.
free. It'll be free. Newer people can get into the series.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, though, I'm not sure if they're trying to get into tournaments because Sony's been really notorious on their profiles, like of their official page.
Yeah.
They have like tournaments every Saturday, I think it feels like, for Mortal Kombat.
Really? I thought
Yeah,
it was because of the
it feels
Evo thing that they did.
Yeah,
before.
they usually do these tournaments every now and then on their show. So it's like
Okay.
maybe that explains why the whole Evo thing is such a big deal for them because there was a patent I covered where they were trying to have the system in play where you can bet on your favorite streamers. So that's again, it's coming full circle, so to speak, with the the big long-term investment into that. And so that's where Capcom could be, more likely. I don't know, working with them too. It's interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, that's a interesting. I'm a big fan of fighters, so that'd be interesting to see that. Xbox definitely good shout. Xbox really need to. That's the thing that they need to plug into. Sillet Bang, thank you so much for the £10 super chat. If game happening this year, what other predictions is there? What predictions is going to be there for Xbox? Gamescom actually is a digital only event, which sucks because Gamescom is amazing. If you have ever got next year, hopefully things calm down, back to normal. We have to go to Gamescom. I think the Iron Lords want to go to Gamescom. It's going to be mad. Yep. It'll be a digital only event. I think it's a little bit early to predict what's going to be at Gamescom. We just went off the back of E3, but let me have a thought about it. Before getting to the next topic, I'm going to quickly read these super chats. Sorry, gents. Basil, thanks so much for the £2 super chat. The guy is but her pony. That is all. He's talking about the IGN guy. I don't want to be too harsh on him. Look, it's preferences. It's preferences.
I mean, you want me to chime in on that? I can chime in on the whole bias thing. So PS5 or PS4, really, if you want to go just straight off of that, as we go on to PS5, right? That was the system that pretty much everybody was going for, right? That was the crowd favorite. So of course, visions are going to be a little construed about this because if you look at the PS4 gen and you're going into this one, you were pretty much spoiled on PlayStation 4. So a lot of people want that type of feel for Xbox. So it's only, again, like I said before, it's only the beginning. And things are going to get better for them as they go for Microsoft. But it's really been like that for a long time. Like, this is one good show. A lot of people are having trouble giving them a pass for this, but again, it's their first show with these new studios acquisitions. You're already seeing a lot of change, a lot of narratives have flipped, so it's been a lot better. And I already told people it's going to get better, but that's just all that stuff is going to naturally turn as over time when you see it.
What you're seeing is the transitional period, and you'll see some of the outliers stick out a little bit more.
Yeah, you already seen. A lot of people might say that this conference wasn't that great, but I kind of beg to differ. This is why I said they won, because how many tweets did you see after E3 of people actually buying Series X's or saying that I secured a Series X? You know what I mean? You've seen a lot of that more so than you've seen the launch. You know what I mean? Like it's been like that. So they've really proven a lot.
That's a good point.
On that as well, actually, with regards to confirmation bias or bias in media at all, you have to think a lot of it is very much self-inflicted from previous gen for Xbox.
Yes.
Like, not only are they the baby in consoles, let's face it, PlayStation and Nintendo have been around much longer than them. They've had the footing in the industry longer than they have. Xbox come in, try to disrupt it in the first place. They did a really good job with the first Xbox, an unbelievable job with the 360. And then Xbox One just absolutely shot themselves in the foot. And then the media bias was right. It was absolutely true at the beginning, and they've had to fight tooth and nail to get any kind of confirmation that they've done a good job at all.
Yes.
Up until now.
And they went to so many narratives last gen with the whole, hey, you guys are gonna have a relationship with your TV to okay, now we're Game Pass, but then it was like it went to so much stuff with the OG.
Power doesn't matter. Power matters now.
Power matters.
One thing we've noticed as well is specifically off the back of this one is the vast majority, 75 to 80% of media now were actually congratulating and saying how well Xbox did this year around.
Yeah.
IGN seemed to be the outlier, and that's not the likes of Destin, because Destin actually, if you're watching his stuff recently, very much on point, and I really love kind of what he's doing now with his own channel.
Shout out to Destin.
Really great work. Yeah, shout out to Destin. But yeah, IGN, again, as I said, as Mav said, it boils down to whoever's doing the editing in the back room, because that is just, it's really pathetic. It's proper childish stuff now.
Yeah.
Like when you start to argue with fans in a chat on an Xbox live stream from the official IGN account.
I mean, in a weird way, I understand though, because you can't really have any show at this point. Like every show has these weirdos in the chat.
Yeah.
Every show. It doesn't matter Xbox, especially PlayStation. Every state of play, you'll have these weirdos putting ridiculous stuff in the chat. It's every time.
They just don't have to respond though. They don't have to respond from the
especially from the
It's just
official
weird.
account.
Yeah, it
Imagine
does
if
look
Xbox
good
did
from
the
that.
same. Because I mean, if you have a look at this as a random one, and we all probably seen it going around on Twitter, but you will have noticed Crap Gamer jumped in 6 hours before the Xbox stream and started talking absolute rubbish in the Xbox chat for no reason. Did Xbox respond?
No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but who cares about that guy? But yeah, sorry. Just like we're talking about proper content creators, guys.
Yes.
JD Gamer, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. There's a reason why Paris Lily and Kind of Funny Games were used by Xbox to cover them instead of IGN. Can and will be ignored simply by sponsoring other media outlets. Shout out to Paris, man. Paris just smashed it.
Such big props for someone who started off where we are.
That's amazing, isn't
And now
it?
look
Paris,
at where he is.
Paris has been in our chat multiple times, just like he's one of us, man. And like us as content creators, then he was at the extended event and he killed it. He killed it. He was so natural on camera. Before you go to Hollywood, Paris, remember you have to come on the show, yeah? Yeah, remember, don't get too famous. Get famous after you've come onto the show. I think that ship has sailed. You are killing it, brother. Thank you so much for everything you did. Just smashing it, and let's hope for all of us. Maybe one day we'll be famous like IGN and start console warring and chats. Yeah, yeah. The chat cracks me up. Tony, you're a troll. But look, I also said Phil Spencer also immediately after there's masses of positive energy with Xbox, and Phil Spencer said, and I quote, and I'm going to try and find my tweet because I retweeted what he did, but he said this is the most viewed thing they had, and I said the tides had turned. Where is it? I found it. He goes, yeah. So Phil Spencer says, thank you for the great week. Our most viewed E3 ever. We haven't felt players and the team sharing so much energy and excitement since the 360 era. We're inspired by the community. Blah 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 blah. And that we feel that, particularly because last year was so crap for Xbox, although also good for the lessons they learned. Dutch, I actually, and I'll get you into this as well, BitClown. There's also what JD was talking about earlier on, and I'm going to speak to you, Asa, as well. You're the sensible man, and Mav is back just in time. Dutch, the Xbox is building a lot of momentum. 360 was its highlight, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you tell me if you disagree, that I think Xbox is stronger now than it ever has been before, to the point where Xbox is a real concern for PlayStation. The power of Game Pass to me is so fundamentally strong that it can really cause danger by swiping those third parties out under PlayStation's belt, under its feet. Back 4 Blood being on Game Pass is, to me, crazy. I think people are very spoiled. Halo being free to play and being on Game Pass is crazy. 23 of the 26 games that are on Game Pass? It's crazy. I am saving hundreds thanks to Xbox Game Pass. That momentum builds. Sony is in real trouble.
Wait, you're saving money? You're not paying 70? Boo.
Yeah, man. I'm a fake gamer. Because I had people say that as well. How dare you? I support my devs. All right, okay, no Vaseline. But Wandering Dutch, tell me about this. Like, what do you think? Like, am I overblowing? Am I just getting caught up in the moment? Or
Not at all. You have to think the last time Xbox had such support from hierarchy within was when the launch of the original Xbox, when Bill Gates himself unveiled the Xbox with The Rock. That was the owner of Microsoft showing off a console for the first time.
I love that.
On the eve of the first proper E3 for the Series X, you've had conversations directly from Satya Nadella, who is now chairman of the board for Microsoft. You've got the backing of someone who has now the top of the tree for Microsoft, which is the first time since the original Xbox launched. when you had 360, as much as it was really powering ahead, that backing wasn't as prevalent. And again, for Xbox One, it was completely lacking entirely. Like nobody really was given a toss whether or not Xbox was staying afloat or not, to the point where Phil Spencer, primarily, there he is. There he is.
What is going on right there? Oh my god! I just keep it up there. That's brilliant.
But you haven't had this level of support from the top down since the original launch. You've also got now, again, looking at how many genres they've got. They've got two different platforms released immediately, both of which are much more than capable. They've got 23 studios and growing, as they keep mentioning, so we don't know who the others are. Within them studios, you've got around 40 different individual teams all are working on projects. You've got 5 or 6 different in-house engines now. You've got Japanese developers jumping on board. You've got a massive wealth of indie developers that are keen to work with ID at Xbox consistently. I mean, it is the most exciting time to get on board. The Game Pass thing itself is an entirely different thing that people didn't really see coming, because Xbox seen a niche there and went, right, okay, there's a lot of services, but if we can get the backing of the board who say, right, okay, we're going to let you spend quite a bit of money up front to try and get this going, because it's going to cost a fortune to try and get this going. And we're not going to see the buyback period. And I work in sales myself primarily, so we call it buyback period. So you invest to get back. You don't. If you have to put something in initially to be able to get something back in the long run. And those buyback periods can range from 5 to 10 years. And that's what Xbox will see. And Xbox, thankfully, are now a $2 trillion company. They're not little kids' games, and they have the full backing of the top tier guys.
Yeah.
So in terms of where they stand as an absolute foothold now, they've got the backing, they've got the teams, they've got the engines, they've got IDs, they've got third parties, they've got second parties. What don't, like, it is theirs to ruin.
It is theirs to ruin, which but don't underestimate Xbox's ability to.
But I think what you've got as well though now, and people always laugh and joke at Xbox fans and things like that, but Phil Spencer is a leader. He really has turned the ship around for Xbox. Again, people underestimate it, but if it wasn't for the fact that he literally went to the board at Microsoft and said, right, trust me, I can get out of this, I can make this brand what it should be, and
we wouldn't be here.
It wouldn't be here at all. And if you have a look, and this
major props to Phil Spencer.
It is major props. And one thing I look at, and this is, everyone keeps talking about. I personally believe PlayStation were in a better front with Sean Layden in.
Yeah.
I think Sean understood the PlayStation gamers more than Jim Ryan does.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Big Cloud? Like, you're a PlayStation guy. Do you feel more confident with Sean Layden or Jim Ryan?
So with Sean Layden, it was consistent. Jim Ryan is very unpredictable. What's going to happen at this point? You know what I mean? Like, he's a businessman. He's going where numbers are and growth.
Yeah.
So you see them now getting into mobile. They're now going mobile. They're doing. I really said, because I said this with Chris Grinnell, and we had a good conversation about this. And the answer to Game Pass, so to speak, for PlayStation might have always been in front of, like, it probably was already in front of this whole time. It's called PlayStation Now. More likely, they'll do like a restructure of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And have that be the Game Pass type of competitor.
Well, they have Azure available to them. They actually have a partnership for Azure servers, but they don't use them.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, why did you invest in Azure?
Yeah,
you know, if you didn't think you had this in your future, and so there's always a lot of stuff to just look out for them. Apparently,
the Leonicio says this is anti-Jim Ryan stuff is actually Xbox propaganda. I don't think so. I think it's Jim Ryan makes it very easy to make fun of him. Give you an example. I'll give you an example.
I was going to say I'm not anti-Jim Ryan. I just think Sean Layden understood PlayStation fans better than Jim Ryan does. I think the thing is he
comes off as a gamer. That's what Sean does.
Because remember when he first got on the stage, he was nervous.
taking it all in. Remember that he naturally grew with the stage, and kind of like we grew with Sean on when it came to his stage presence, and he just became more natural with the gamers and what they want. Like when it comes to Jim Ryan doesn't interact with fans or
he's
take feedback. Yeah, he's corporate. Sean Layton responds. You know, he's like the only one of the few executives you'll see actually heart a comment and actually listen and take your consideration. So
Jim Ryan doesn't even look like he can hold a controller. Have you seen that picture of him? He's like, it's like, what the hell is he doing there?
It was all listen. That was all PR for me. I'm like, dude, you can't even wear the headset properly. It's like, I can't.
Simon says it's straight out of the CIA handbook. It's a conspiracy. No, man. Listen, this week, I'll go into. So Jim Ryan says, he says Sony wants to support crossplay more. That's what Jim Ryan said.
Where that came from.
Oh yeah. And then someone asked about the recent issue with Gearbox and Borderlands 3, with Randy Pitchford basically confirming that PlayStation is being different. And then Ryan said that, you know what Jim Ryan's response was? Live business issue with a long-standing partner. Our policies are consistent across all publishers. So what the hell are you saying, man? You just said that. The same guy who said we think of the children is now saying the same stuff. But listen, action speaks louder than words, Jim. I mean, he gets it a lot, but a lot of it's fun and games, right? It's a comparison with Don Matrick. It's get involved in the source. It's not conspiracy.
I mean, you would think it's all fun and games, but some people take this actually to their core and are actually invested into it. They're like, oh, he's destroying PlayStation, I'm done. But yet Sony shows Horizon. Oh, I'm back on PlayStation. I'm buying anything you want. like I literally saw that switch. I was like, guys, I told you guys for a long time, you're going to see them move similar to Xbox in many ways. Not necessarily all at once, because Microsoft put it all on the table. You'll slowly see them dip, you know what I mean? Like go piece by piece into a type of thing. They're like, nah, you're out your mind. You're saying that because you're on Xbox shows. I'm like, okay. It's all about business. It's the market. It's changed. And when you look at this, it's all business. So when you see this again, it's like people just can't. They just can't do it, man. They can't handle it. They really can't. So it's what can you do, man? What can you do?
It's fun and games for us, though. It's about the drama of console.
The competition is healthy. That's what you've got to. That's what you've got to see.
They don't even consider
when Xbox is fighting, then PlayStation is going to fight, and then Xbox is going to fight.
Exactly.
That's only going to be better for everybody else, and this is what people need to.
I said that with the 360. The 360 brought the best out of PlayStation in a long time. That was like one of the best times. Like they were just, you could always count on Sony to have a game. You know what I mean? For a year. Yeah. Nowadays, there hasn't been that pressure, and it's like dudes are afraid of pressure. It's like, no, it's not pressure. They're buying the industry. I'm like, no, they're not buying the industry. You can still buy these games. You can still do X, Y, Z. These are just an option to get into an ecosystem. That's it. But they're thinking that, oh, Microsoft is trying to change everything. They're trying to buy every studio. I'm like, no and no. They're just competing.
And they still have an uphill struggle. They still have to show the goods. PlayStation will still be a worldwide force. Game Pass and
Forte will tell you this. Everybody who works at GameStop will tell you just by sales alone, right? Yeah. In terms of a worldwide brand, PlayStation is a bigger, stronger worldwide brand. Microsoft wants to compete on that level, hence why you're seeing Game Pass replace Xbox, so to speak, as the platform. Because the platform is not Xbox; it's Game Pass. Wherever Game Pass is, you'll play. You're in the deal, so to speak. So that's what the whole thing is.
Yeah, it does. People still don't. It's hard to see that because it's Microsoft, but they're still. I don't know. They're still the underdog. No, Asa, are they underdog? 100%. JD Gamer asked about. Dutch thinks that they're the underdog. JD Gamer asked, "What's the metric for success now in terms of is it still hardware sales? Is it?" And who's market leader? How do you judge that? Shout out to the 300 people, by the way, watching. Smash that like button. Get saucy. We're going to talk about Halo next. But yeah.
Was there a question in there? What was the question?
Yeah, Asa, I think the metric for success these days, and I think they've both stated it, is engagement numbers. And the reason they mention engagement numbers so highly, and what people need to understand, is the more people that they've got playing these games, the more people that they've got on their services, the more money they make. It's not about how many consoles you shift, because if you shift 100 million consoles, but you only have 50 million of those invested, or even less, then it's only 50 million of those people that are going to continuously buy content.
Yeah.
If you've got 100 million people on a service, and they're active users, that's 100 million people investing in content.
Yeah, a lot of people are missing that too. They're misconstruing this too. They think because the sales numbers, again, how many of these sales are from scalpers?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, they
Sony
mentioned
can't.
that the other day. Actually, there was a
Yeah.
report that said 75%. I don't know where they got that from. It's some kind of
Yeah.
achievement or something. Sorry,
Yeah.
trophy. 75% of PlayStation 5 consoles have been used. The other 25% haven't.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like Sony can't even guarantee you a console in your hands legit at full price, like at the actual price without a scalper taking it. So again, this is why I laugh at people who are crying about the whole crossplay thing. It's like, again, it makes sense. Naturally, you're not going to be able to get your hands on PS5. They can't even guarantee you one next year. Or probably the year after. Hence why you're hearing reports of them coming out with a more refined unit. More likely, it's going to be like that PS3 version where the door didn't open; it was made out of plastic. And I'm talking about that first iteration. It's probably going to be just like that. It's not going to be like all extra heavy like the beast that we have now. If you have one, But they're trying their hardest, and at the same time, they can't guarantee you anything. So that's why people are crying about nothing. And then it's just funny because like everybody has this conspiracy. They're like, "Whoa, Jim Ryan's bad. Jim Ryan's bad." Okay, if he's so bad, why are you still on PlayStation? They're like, well, I like the games. I'm a fan. Okay, if you're a fan, he's not hurting you as a fan. You're still getting the games. The experiences are going to come. None of these experiences are stopping at all. If he said, hey, guys, we're canceling Naughty Dog, we're canceling Guerrilla Games, or we're canceling Sony Santa Monica, then you can outrage. Sure, that's absolutely something to outrage about. But saying that games are cross-gen, it makes no sense to me. Especially in this time.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. I mean, that has to be said. People don't know who Jim Ryan are. Only the core gamers know. The vast majority of people who buy these things, they have no idea who Jim Ryan is. They don't know who Phil Spencer is. It trickles down. The positivity trickles down from the core gamers. But we did a deep fake of the Mission Impossible skit where we exchanged the faces with Jim Ryan, Shuhei Yoshida, and Phil Spencer. If you haven't watched our video, do watch it. Took me a long time to make that. This is us at the front line seeing things like this. There's a much wider community out there, and like what Xbox's strategy is to go for is the things like the mobile market that dwarfs the core gaming market as well. So as much as we like the chap in the chat says this is conspiracy theory, I don't think it goes that deep because ultimately the market.
Is Sony really hurting from all this stuff? No, or are fanboys hurting? That's the question you got to ask.
Very good question. Very good question. Very good question.
Most people who argue on Twitter are guys you see counting these games on their hand and competing them with Microsoft. Like, oh, we got this game coming out. That game coming out is exclusive. You have this. And then when Jim Ryan takes that little bragging rhetoric, oh, he's the worst thing ever. But I'm like, did you even play the damn game?
Exactly.
That's the thing. You know, that's the big issue. A lot of people don't buy them.
Sony
and Big Cloud.
I was going to say, soon you'll be sitting back and looking at that and just thinking, oh, okay, fair enough, right? No problem, right? Come on, guys.
Sony be watching my Mission Impossible deepfake and okay, I'm coming for you, guys. Coming for you. Sorry, go, Matt. Go.
Yeah, I just want to say something real quick to Big Cloud because he's talking about the whole cross-gen thing and people kind of overreacting and stuff. Is like when they showed Horizon Forbidden West, that big gameplay reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear anybody saying, "Oh man, this looks like it was held back"?
This up. Listen, I bring this up every time when we talk about this, right? Like everybody's making a big conspiracy. Everybody's crying. Oh, he's got to go. I can't take it. This is cross-gen. I didn't see now one person in that chat. When everybody saw that, they were like, this is the most next-gen thing I've ever seen. This is groundbreaking. This is amazing. Where I kept talking about the sound because that's one of the issues for the first one. The world sounded dead. There wasn't not much life to it, you know what I mean? Aside from the machines. So this one was pushed to that next tier. Visuals are amazing. And now all of a sudden it's crossed, the game doesn't look good. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I think one thing I was always against the cross-gen thing, but I think this E3 proved that, it's something like Dealer and people have always been saying visual scale, although I'm not saying visuals don't scale, but they've scaled so well that something that looks like real life is still working cross-gen like Forza Horizon. So I think that narrative is
they actually came out with a kind of a little thing about scalability Forza because they were asked about cross-gen in an article. And they said, they said it's not a problem for us. We've been scaling it from Forza Horizon 2 the lowest PC spec hardware you can imagine all the way up to the top spec you could possibly get. So for us, scalability makes no difference. Like,
and they're very good in
don't
optimizing the
agree.
games as well.
I don't agree though. I think
Oh.
Forza Horizon 5 in particular, it's easy to say now when you see this photorealistic stuff and it peels away and it looks amazing. Wait until Forza Horizon 6 comes out in a few years' time and tell me that it wasn't held back. Wait until they change the way that a car interacts with a bush and tell me that it wasn't held back. That's when it was. That's when you'll see.
There are certain resources. Certain resources are not used with CrossGen, absolutely. But I mean, from a visual standpoint, you can't really refute that it's you know what I mean? Like it's next gen. Like when you see the side by side, you could tell that that's a next gen.
Certain things definitely scale, but if you watched the Forza Horizon 5 gameplay closely, and if you play the games, the previous ones like 2, 3, and 4, you know the way that game handles shrubbery and bushes, right? I mean, I'm not criticizing these games. These are incredible games. They're the best racing games out there as far as I'm concerned. But you know that there is room to improve, and they've got the resources in the new consoles and newer PCs to make those improvements. They can't do that in a cross-gen game because you can't have physics like affecting cars differently in a race. That would be crazy. So they have to wait.
That's game design.
So much as things do scale, and much as it looks incredible, and much as people playing it are going to have a great time and it's going to be an amazing game, it is still held back in some ways. It just is.
In terms of visually, visually,
what the
from
current
a technical standpoint, visually is never going to be affected. It's the technical standpoint, as Asia was mentioning. From a technical standpoint,
I think visually it could possibly be held back. No, Asa? Like,
it's quite a nebulous term.
So,
visually, there's things that you can scale really well. So like the reflection and the particle effects and the way that it looks, the textures and all of that stuff scales really well. But visually could encompass the way that physics are behaving. So you can say like it's not visual scaling, but if the dirt starts getting deformed properly by the cars more so, because you've got all this CPU resource and you can do that now, that's still it visually looks better. It's not technically visuals. It depends how you define what is and what isn't.
They're intrinsically linked, like the dust.
But they are linked,
like,
so it will look
and then
exactly. It will look better if those bushes don't clip through the car, right? It will. So.
Yeah, then Asa going deep into the matrix there, asking philosophical
good
questions.
points by Asa though. There.
As always, the piece of. Anyway, Bravo 6 Entertainment, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Because PlayStation already gave their answer to Game Pass with Resident Evil 8. They will not make PlayStation Now better. They will only try to keep games from going to Game Pass. Is that the case? Oh, he's alluding to the.
He's talking about the deal with Capcom. Capcom was at Sony's event.
Bravos, get the saucy stuff, but that's all speculation. I don't think that's fun speculation.
It's not speculation. It was a leaked contract.
Yeah,
and that contract is for more likely a timed deal for like more likely content based. That's what it usually see that with stuff with time deals. Every time, every game. Yeah,
so for people like people in the chat might not necessarily be familiar with what this story is. There was a contract leaked a while back. Sony's deal for Resident Evil 8 with marketing specifically prohibited Resident Evil 8 coming out on Game Pass or any other subscription services, and it had a few other content restrictions in there as well. It was blown up as a fairly big deal in some circles. It is and it isn't. It was fairly standard wording for contracts that you get with marketing deals, but the Game Pass thing was kind of unique and kind of interesting. But
there's a marketing deal. This is extending to that. But yeah, absolutely. But you could turn that on its head. Microsoft might be doing the Game Pass is like the next new version of money hatting, kind of like third-party deals.
So this particular thing, the Sony contract, the wording was almost word for word the same as Microsoft's standard publishing deal. So the thing that was controversial that Sony were asking is what everybody that publishes a game on Xbox, exclusive deal or not, has to sign up to as well, essentially. So it was a non-issue. It just people see the wording that goes on in the background. It doesn't always look nice and friendly because it's not nice and friendly. Because I didn't say much on the Game Pass conversation, I know we've spoken about it quite a bit in terms of whether Sony needs to be worried or not. I think as fans and people that are really invested in it, we see more urgency than big corporations do. And you look at the numbers and you look at Game Pass and you say Game Pass has got 23, 24, 25 million people. Wow, that's a lot of people. It's like half of what PlayStation Plus has got. Perspective, like it's a big number, and Sony should be looking at it and going, wow, one day if this carries on this trajectory, we could run into a problem maybe 5 years down the line. And that's Jim Ryan's job, is to steer that trajectory where it needs to go, and that's probably what he's doing. It's not his job to make us like him. It's not his job to tell us the truth.
Every time that man is quiet, you should be worried. Pretty much. Every time he's quiet.
But it's his job to, like, if they need a strategy to counter Game Pass, it's easy to say they need to do day one games on PlayStation now immediately. They don't. They've got loads of time to react. They probably are reacting. They've probably got plans. And Microsoft still have an awful lot of work to do with Game Pass, because that 23 million subscribers at the moment is contained within people that have an Xbox console almost entirely. And that's not the Game Pass strategy. So Microsoft haven't actually broken that wall and blown it out yet. So for fans, it's urgent. For big corporations, bigger picture, they can sit back and they can make their plans and they can let things happen. And I'm sure they're moving those pieces and doing what they need to.
And I think that's a very good point. And I think Xbox will be feeling the pressure to break that barrier, because that's not the strat. Like you said, the strategy is the wider world. In order for this to maybe to reap the benefits that Microsoft want, they want to get that out there ASAP. They have said that. So yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. ASAP, always with the source, the sensible source, I call it. JD Gamer with $5 super chat goes, panel predictions. Someone predicted Xbox will sell 1 million in Japan, and I added the Xbox Game Pass will be 6 to 10 times as many mobile devices. Japan is very interesting. So we got an article today by Tech Radar, is basically saying Xbox is seeing phenomenal growth in Japan. I quote. No, seriously.
It's not going to get anywhere near 1 million, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that would be a game changer, but I don't think that's going to happen.
We're talking about a generation where they barely hit a couple of 100,000 over the entire generation.
That's horrible.
But one thing we
they now got multiple ways of getting you in now with mobile.
There's Game Pass,
one thing we are seeing, though, and you've probably seen it all yourselves, to be honest, there is a massive influx now of Japanese players coming onto Twitter specifically, and this is what we didn't see last gen at all.
Oh, I haven't seen them.
Have you not seen them?
Yeah, it's a big one.
A lot of them going on. Just here's my Xbox Series S and Game Pass, and here's mine and Game Pass, and all. Loads of them, and they're all just, and quite a lot of them as well are saying, I've got the Series S because there's no Series X. When the Series X comes and it's available, I'll get the Series X.
Wow, that would be amazing. Because that's crazy. That's a game changer. That means Microsoft are doubling down on Japan, which is really admirable, because that's very hard conversation in the back rooms of the senior seats there. Like, we sell 200,000. What are you trying? Yeah. Why are we funneling money into this country that hates us? And that's happening. Don't give up on it. I hope we get to see some first party Japanese titles as well.
Doesn't Japan have really good internet too, and like also mobile connections?
Very good point. Exactly.
So, streaming sticks, also the TV apps, plus xCloud, maybe even better there than it is here.
Probably be way better. Probably runs better than our Xbox Series X, considering how powerful their internet is. I was gonna, like, the highlight of E3 for me, and I don't know if it's for you, despite Forza winning the game of the show, was inevitable. It was going to be Halo Infinite. I mean, the tone has changed, man. From last year, Halo Infinite was bad news for 343, great news for fanboys on the PlayStation side, bad news for Xbox fanboys, and it was just a whole mess. We said this on, and I think I did this on your thing, Mav, where we talked about predictions. And in the run-up to E3, we said it's impossible for Xbox to have a successful E3 if Halo Infinite does not look good. How 343 have managed to bring it back is quite interesting, because they haven't actually shown much of the single-player campaign, but what they did show, that brief thing that really instilled a lot of confidence. It was the multiplayer that completely carried that Halo and took it to another sphere. It's mad. But Asa, I want to get your opinions on it, as I think you're probably trying to bring up the footage, because you're a lovely gentleman. But Asa, I want to get your views on just the technical side of things, like how, because you did a very good video, and check it out, guys, if you haven't, on the tech highlights of E3 2021, and you talked about Halo. Were you impressed visually with what they showed of Halo? How much can we rely on the single player bits that they showed off for Halo?
So how I feel about them? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So
sorry, Asa.
Just get that back to the beginning. Yeah, no, the multiplayer looks, I think I said before, the multiplayer looks really clean, really nice, and really fun. probably less impressive than Battlefield 2042. If you watch this show all the time, you know that I say that. I'll prefer to play Halo, but there's more going on in Battlefield. But it looks like, and you can say from the social media response, it looks like the Halo game that fans are absolutely asking for. In terms of the single player stuff and the campaign and stuff, it's really, we've seen so little of it. The flyover that they do looks great, but it is at a distance, and you have to appreciate that it is at a distance. And you can say that some of the issues that they had with it the first time around when they showed that campaign and people weren't happy, some of the issues were with like pop-in and things like that. And you can look from a distance and say, yeah, that's definitely improved. And you can look at the color palette and the lighting and the light coming through the trees and stuff, and you can say, yeah, they've improved that. But until we see gameplay at ground level again, it's hard to guess like the extent of the glow up and how happy people are going to be. I'm quietly confident. I think it's going to be a good looking game, but
no, I mean, I did notice that. We were looking for all those things, the grass, the pop in and stuff, and that wasn't there. But that was a very curated, very one shot thing.
They gave Craig a helmet. I mean, the brutes that I could see in there had helmets.
they had helmets in some of the bull shots early on, but yeah, I can see that. Just hide the Craig faces. Oh my god, it looks so good. It's on stream right now. Look at it, guys. This is it. This is the peak Halo. Mav, I mean, what did you think of Halo when you saw it? Like, did that kind of are you now worried about Halo?
Am I now worried about Halo?
Are you worried about Halo?
No, I was never worried. I mean, there's never been a game that I felt that was bad. That was Halo, right? So I was never worried. All I needed for it to be was more Halo, but like it has reinforced my faith in it, I guess you could say, just because I've been trying to say, hey, no, it's gonna be fine, and every time like some little thing happens, like people freak out. It's like people want to jump on the negative train so much. And even leading up to this was like when they said it was going to be mainly multiplayer shown, people were like, oh, that's such a huge mistake. It's going to be horrible. Halo's done if they do that, and all these takes, right? But I mean, the reaction overwhelmingly from so many people that weren't even really big into Halo after seeing this.
That's the point.
Is amazing, dude, because for me, I want Halo to be big because I love Halo, and if Halo's big again, and Halo's like one of the most popular things out there, period, again, then that means, guess what? We're going to get more Halo, right? And that means that the investment from them will keep going more into more different Halo things. And as somebody that loves Halo, that has me excited. So when I see people's perceptions actually change because of what they showed, and all of this negative talk all of a sudden overwhelmingly shifts into like positive talk, or people are like saying, oh, I'm going to check that out. I'm excited about it. I haven't played Halo in years, but this is going to get me to dive back in. That just means they nailed what they showed. And regardless of like how amazing it is to some people or not, they achieved what they needed to at the E3 showcase.
And then some.
And then some. And here's the thing. It looked great for non-Halo fans, for like something that looks like fun. That looks like something I want to dive into. This looks like back in the day, maybe when I played Halo 3 some, or Halo 2, it kind of looks like that kind of fun again now. But if you go deep into what they actually showed,
oh man,
it's a lot of stuff for hardcore Halo fans to nitpick, to dive into and see. And it's like, okay, oh wow, we can do that now. You know what I mean? And it's like all these little tidbits, and it's free to play multiplayer too. So all of that was mind blowing. Then you take into the campaign thing. Like, I was sold on the campaign the first time. Like, graphically, I know, but like I look at it for the gameplay. And if you give me something that's like a more open Halo, that's what I've always wanted, right? So when they showed that panning over the vista of the Halo ring, and you see like this little encampment of Banished up there on top of that cliff with the verticality overhanging the UNSC like encampment, and it's just like, and then you just see it keeps going and going and going, and you see like pelicans flying in the distance, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is like I've always dreamt of, And
that's only one bit, because for a fact they're going to change up the environments as well. So Zeta Halo, 100%. If you know about the lore, there's so much going on in Zeta Halo. Watch the space, the Flood are back. As someone in the chat, when I asked you a question, are you worried about Halo, said, weird question. That wouldn't be a very. There's a reason why I said that. And it's funny. That's quite telling that he said that because last year it would be the question on everyone's lips.
Yeah.
Are you worried about Halo? And the answer would have been yes. Now you're like, your reaction was, am I worried? And that speaks volumes about how incredible Halo has done. What a big job 343 have done to turn it around. That was a U-turn I did not expect. Dutch, are you a Halo fiend like us? And are you happy with what they showed with Halo?
Yes, and the one thing that a lot of people kind of, I don't know whether or not they've sidestepped it, but Halo is now couch co-op again.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I've played the thing that got me into Xbox in the first place was getting the OG Xbox with Halo Combat Evolved, playing that in Curry's before it was Curry's PC World.
Oh yeah, I did that. Yeah.
On one of them booths. I'm just sitting there and thinking, oh my god, I need this. I need this immediately. So yeah, I'm a Halo fiend, and I wasn't worried last time around. Graphics is never something that's worried me. If the game looked like it played piss poor, then I would have been worried. But the game looked like it played well, but the graphics did need polishing. So I was never worried per se. But it's a pleasant surprise to see how much work they've actually managed to do to get this looking so much better than it was in the short space of time.
And I don't think we've actually seen the best of what Halo has to offer as well.
Definitely not. If you have to think if the multiplayer, which houses many people, how many is it online now for multiplayer?
I think it was 12 on 12.
Big team battles 12 on 12.
12 on 12 online. So that's a multiplayer with 12 on 12. Not a single player, not co-op.
Yeah.
Not a big open world that does not require your online connection to play.
Yeah.
That is going to be far more detailed than the multiplayer, and the multiplayer looks fantastic. Some of the little things, and you'll have seen them kind of dotted around, where the guy gets shot in the head, the bot gets shot in the head, and he falls to the floor, and the physics and the sparks that come off the gun.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice, man. I'm gonna do a video on how good
the
Halo.
Little things that people haven't kind of really picked up on, like the changes, the subtle changes. The thing that got me hyped from that multiplayer trailer though was launching the grenade over to the sword. Sword projecting up into the air, catching that mid-air, and I was like, whoa.
That's core Halo. That's core
hype.
Halo. That's Halo back to its factor. That's hype.
Back to its roots,
Hayabusa armor, the new version looks insane. I think last time you had to, on Halo 3, you had to unlock all the achievements to unlock that, right? But I think you might have to do the same here. And then, you have to give props to 343 as well. Not only is it free to play, the multiplayer, but they introduced this thing that makes Battlefield look so bad with its battle pass, because you can now carry over and buy different things in different seasons. That's amazing.
Go back and use the previous one and finish that. I want to give props to all of the more recent games as well, including Forza and Halo, for inclusivity for people with kind of loss of limbs, should we say. Having kind of prosthetics. Having both of them have got prosthetics for your characters.
For characters, yeah. Microsoft are really good with that. Microsoft are really good.
Yeah, the adaptive controller. Adaptive
controller as well.
Is insane. I really wish, and this is one thing I wish for those that get the adaptive controllers and use them, is I really wish they did a design labs for them.
That's a very good point. Yeah. That's a very good point, actually.
That would be awesome.
And can you imagine so many designs as well with the way the adaptive controller looks? There's a lot of scope.
A lot of scope. Make it happen.
Make it happen. I was just about to say that. Xbox, make it happen. but yeah, respect to that. It's good to get all that inclusivity. And I mean, this is a basic thing that they should have. But respect, hats off to the studios and to Xbox to getting these things done. And that's really good. That's a good point, Dutch. But I mean, Big Cloud, I want to talk to you. Are you a Halo nut? And
I was all the way to Halo 3, and I stopped.
How dare you?
Halo 4 is amazing.
I did not get all the way into 4. Nah, I didn't get all the way into 4.
The campaign is good. Yeah. The campaign is good.
Yeah, because I bought the custom 360 for Halo 3 at that time.
Yeah?
So I was in it for that. But after that, I was like, okay, I don't know if they can top this.
Halo Infinite. What about Halo Infinite? Does that want to get you back?
So, thing about Halo Infinite, and they botched the first reveal for this, where it was unpolished and they showed off the pop-in and all that stuff. They really should have saved that for this moment here. I know a lot of people might say that's weird that I say save it, but it would have had a much more impact, especially if it looked exactly like the cinematic that we saw for the little it would have looked a lot better. But it looks better. It does look a lot more polished. I would say the multiplayer was probably the best part about it, because not only is it free to play, but it's actually got a lot of my friends now excited. Like, for example, we was in the Discord and they over here running matches in Halo on PC, and I'm sitting there going, wow, you guys are really setting up. Like, yeah, we getting set for these fights. I'm like, okay, I see you. So it's going to be good. The multiplayer, I have no complaints for whatsoever. It looked good from start to finish. The single player, though, that's kind of where Halo's kind of always had this issue with as of late, from what I've been hearing, right? Good single player, bad multiplayer, good single player. I mean, a good multiplayer, bad single player. So hopefully they found the perfect balance this time around and they nailed that. But from what I saw, I got old school Halo vibes from that first multiplayer reveal. And it actually felt like they had fun. You know what I mean? It looked like they had fun making this. It looked like they enjoyed themselves. It didn't like, okay, we got to throw this out here. It's deadline time. You know what I mean? And then it looks bare bones. No, this looks really good.
Looks amazing. It exceeded my expectations, yet it still looked like Halo. That's what's amazing, and that's how these guys. Only way they could have pulled this off is if they were really dedicated to and understanding the nucleus of Halo. And that's what they did. JD Gamer, thanks so much for the $2 super chat. And it's actually a very good question I'm going to ask you guys. For a quick fire round. Halo Metacritic predictions. He predicts 87 to 91. Pick a singular score, JD. Don't miss out. Boom. Asa, what's their Metacritic score for Halo Infinite?
84.
84. Matt, that's conservative, but yeah, sensible. Sensible Asa as always. Mav, what do you think?
Because of media, I'm going to say 86.
86.
But not because of the quality of the game. Just because the media sucks.
Oh, wow. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. He says, because of media bias, it will be 86. But if it was judged on its quality, Mav thinks
it's not just based on bias. It's based on Halo is always a crazy controversial game because it's like an Xbox exclusive, and if you are trying to get clicks on something and you want to make a big splash, then what you do is you throw out an ultra low score on Halo. And you will get 1 million clicks on your site because you're going to have a lot of people go there. That's what's going to happen.
Those traction pieces, they'll say Xbox is dead, Sony won or something.
It's coming. As certain as death and taxes, that outlier review to get those clicks is coming. 2:45, I'm looking at you. Wandering Dutch, what do you predict the score to be?
Yeah, before Asa and Mav said that, actually, I was bang in the middle. I was going to say about 85.
85. So 85. And
the reason I'm saying that specifically is because I think a mixture, I'm not going to say media per se, but I think it from the rocky showing that they give initially up until now, the media and reviewers will go through that game with a fine-tooth comb.
Yes, they will. They
will.
Unbearably so.
Yep. So anything and everything that could be improved on that game will be picked up on and will be reviewed. So I think 85.
You know what? Look, this is going to be a controversial statement, but I will say this: Horizon Forbidden West and Halo, the way those two are going to be reviewed are going to be vastly different.
It's going to be different, yeah. They're going to be like visuals this side. This one, they're probably going to focus on multiplayer. They'll do a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. But I think I think this is source. I think they'll be harsher on Halo than they will be on Horizon.
100%.
Why? But I don't know. BitCloud, what do you think?
Score-wise, okay. Since they added, multiplayer is free to play, they've done a lot of improvements here. Again, we won't know until we see it, but it's crazy because I said Ratchet was going to get like a 90 something, right? And Ratchet was like an 89. It was almost there. It was like 89. So this one, since I actually walked away with a big smile with this one, like, okay, I actually feel good about this one.
Yeah.
I say 88 would be
88. That's all sensible. A lot of people in chat says 88. Daniel Hayes says 89. Games Lord goes all the way up the spectrum from 84 to 91. Big Justice.
Reason why I don't think it'll touch. The only way for that thing to touch a 91 is if they have to. This has to legit feel like Resident Evil 2 remake type of thing. You know what I mean? It has to feel like a love letter. You know what I mean? They have to legit really.
Well, that
nail
story reveal has
everything.
to nail it. Really, I think the story has to nail it as opposed to the multiplayer.
Yeah.
They have to do
really
so
cool.
good that somebody will risk their careers by giving it a negative review online.
Exactly. They have to really go
Be
all out.
that good. Yeah.
Or if it's someone who, if it's on the fringes of 90 and someone gives it, well, I will say Halo will get 90. I will get. Oh, Faisal, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. He says Halo will get 90. I will also predict a 90. Skeptical Gaz giving Halo 90. That says a lot about what a good Halo was. But I will say 90. Hellboy 95. Are you on crack, man? There's no way it's gonna get 95.
Like,
I don't know how good it is.
And these are diehard Halo fans telling you 95 is impossible. So I don't see a 95 ever in the future. But again, if it's a love letter, then that's where that door opens. But it really has to be nailed on every single category, like every single one. There can't be a flaw in any of these.
People are so overcritical on Halo, man.
It's gonna be mad one. Doverkin 89, thanks so much for the $2 super chat. Goes 343 is gonna reclaim the 90 plus waters this time. How amazing would that be if it went 90? Just the metrics, 89. It's funny because 89 people like,
that'll fix the issues for sure. Because everybody looked at 343 weird going into this game because after the last one. So this will cement that faith in 343.
Oh, this was because there hasn't been a 90 plus Halo since Halo 3, I don't think. I don't know. Halo 3's Metacritic.
Yeah, I said 4 was amazing, but that was a 90 something.
And it wasn't even 90 because the multiplayer, which was a core component, was crap. Media bias will take away 5 points. Saucy chat. We are past the like to our mark, but before we go there, we have to quickly talk about some bits of games of E3 that people didn't talk about. I think we need to give props to some the smaller titles, the indie titles. Ace is going to be like, there's some wicked ones. Ace is going to be like, damn it, Gaz, I'm going to be pulling these games out quick. One game that I loved was Replaced. We haven't seen Replaced. Replaced looks mad. It's filling in the shoes for the last night.
I initially thought it looked like the last night. Like
that's
the last night. It's the last night, and it wasn't. I was like, oh, but it really looks good, and I want it.
The last night looks. The last night. The Replaced. So
I talked about Stalker 2. Stalker 2 looked amazing.
Oh, absolutely. We have to go into that. We're definitely going to talk about that next. Actually, thanks for reminding me. But the last night did it again. Look at Replaced. Just look at it. Look at how good this looks. If you guys are not into like pixel art, that's fine. But this game just oozes style. And what actually is funny is the dev behind the last night got annoyed on social media, and it prompted them to start responding about the last night coming out. And I think Faisal, you sent me a DM on this.
Was there an update?
It was an update. I'd
like to see one.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see one. Faisal, where is it? Yeah, I'm looking at your DMs now. He said, basically they responded. And look at the game. Look at the game. Looks amazing.
It's a mixture between pixel and voxel art, and it looks just tremendous.
It's just incredible. Like, man, indies always push the bar, in my opinion, in terms of visual fidelity.
And it's also so diverse in indie. That's the thing. Like, you see in AAA, you're kind of used to the same type of art styles across the board for AAAs, but in indie, it's such a diverse thing. Like, look at you wouldn't get this in a AAA, would you?
No, you really wouldn't.
And you just wouldn't.
Yeah, and I think without indies, this industry was so stale. And everyone says, "Oh, you champion indie because they're the small guy." I'm like, who's doing this then? Because indies are us. Indies are our game. They know it to the core, the grassroots gamer. So that's just amazing. Replaced looks sick. I will go into thingy in a bit, but I also want to talk about. I say that my memory's fading. Elysium something. What the hell was that game? It looks amazing.
Eiyuden Chronicles.
No, that wasn't it. What was it? It's not a Gaz game. Oh, no.
Somerville is the one you're thinking of. It's got no name like you're thinking now.
Why do I say
See, I can read your mind.
You're
speaking nonsense by now.
He knows me so well. He knows exactly, even though it's completely separate. But I forgot the name again, my ADHD. What is it? Somerville. Somerville's great. It's from the guys who made, oh my God, Inside. and the chaps separated and they did their own thing. But Somerville looks incredible. Like, this game gave me vibes. Have you seen the movie The Arrivals? Have you seen that?
Yes.
And with the world, was it Tom Cruise did the remake?
War of the Worlds.
Yes, you guys all know me really well. But this game looks amazing, man. Like, this game looks sick. If you should see, well, they did so much going on there. And if you played Inside was crazy. Inside was crazy for me, especially the ending was mad. This is going to be on another level. This kind of game I hold in high esteem, and both are in Game Pass. It's stupid. It's crazy. We're so spoiled. And you know what? Other game is on. It's not an indie game, but I'm going to keep talking so this doesn't stop, because skip on it. It's such a good game. I think so. The trailer's almost done, but yeah, you're right. Big Cloud. We're talking about Stalker 2. Stalker 2 looks incredible.
And that studio almost was shut down.
And that studio's almost shut down. And you know what? Game Pass is going to be on Game Pass as well. That game, Stalker, if you don't know, people followed Stalker ages ago. And PC, Stalker 1 was always like, I remember seeing the visuals on it. This is like the Half-Life 2 era. And it's like, oh, it's amazing. Yeah. And Stalker 2 is bringing it back. And that's probably one of the most next-gen looking games. Like, that
Have
was
you
next-gen.
seen the file size?
File size, no?
The file, it's like 150, 160 gig.
Mm-hmm.
For what they've
big for the game, for Stalker 2.
They've already announced the file size for the game?
Yeah, it's available for pre-install, so you can actually see it. It's 150.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's
No.
big. It is a big game.
Serious?
Yeah, that's why
how
it's
it
on
is?
Xbox for 3 months exclusive, because they're waiting for PlayStation to get that storage expansion going.
Sauce.
No, I'm just kidding.
With the sauce. Yeah, man, this game looks amazing.
It looks tremendous, doesn't it?
It really does. And Asa did a really good tech analysis of it. And then I didn't even notice this until Asa's slow motion. But like, if you go see like the grenades destroying the box, you see
Watch the shards.
Yeah, right now.
Smash through the environment. It's good.
Love the mechanics he grabs, like the equipment and everything looks really good.
Yeah, it feels weighty, right? You feel
It auto attaches them as well. It doesn't like, it's not just a case of you go into your pocket and then you attach them. He picks up the scope and puts it straight on his weapon.
Yeah. And I like the ACOG scope in there. Like, it's not like it's there. Like, some games have done that, but it's funny that the little crab thing reminds me of Half-Life, and Half-Life 2, when it was shown off, did the same thing to me. Like, oh my god! At that time, I remember, like, that's it. That's the height of gaming graphics. Can't get any better. That was so stupid of me. Stalker 2's Metro Exodus next gen on steroids. Overkin. Thanks so much for $2 super chat. Metro Exodus apparently got an upgrade, and I was in the party chat with Dealer, and he said this game looks amazing. I need to play that. Yeah, definitely need to play that. This game, there's so much good. Again, Game Pass. Oh, we haven't even so many games to talk about. We haven't even talked about
Plague Tale.
Redfall. What's that?
Plague Tale.
Okay.
Plague Tale. Yeah.
Plague's Tale. Plague's Tale. Yeah, sorry, Ace is like, just damn you guys. Plague's Tale to me was the games look so good that the fam is there. What's up, the Big Camp fam? He's got Oculus Quest controllers.
Yeah, he's got Oculus Quest.
I clocked that straight away. Ace is going to be proud of me. But look at Plague's Tale. This is captured in engine, and I find it hard to believe. I just find that hard to believe.
Asobo's the same studio working on Flight Sim.
Yeah, it's so true, right? Yeah. But it just
I don't. Plague Tale 1 was just such a looker.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
Plague Tale 1.
Beautiful game. And we're getting a free next gen patch.
Yeah, getting a free next gen patch. Please do try it out. You're missing out on this. Typically, it wouldn't be something I thought I wouldn't play, but I completed it, and it was a great game. And now we have no excuse. But look at it, man! It looks like CGI. We're entering CGI levels now with likes of Ratchet, with Kena, Bridge of Spirits. This, but it just I don't know. Some bits of me this looks too good. This looks too good. Too many physics, too much stuff. I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens. But that looks crazy. And yeah, it's such a great game. So spoiled for choice. That's what we're talking about variety.
Again. Yep.
And Game Pass as well. Like, this is a third person. This is like a strategy weird game. If you played it, control the rats and all that stuff. Spoilers? No, it's not spoilers. It's a long time. You should have played already by now. Leonicio Lopez, the guy who thinks CIA is cracking down on things, says it's CGI. Who knows? We've been fooled before, right? Zone 2. But what I also want to talk about is Redfall. Redfall is a game that's getting a lot of hype. For a lot of people are saying it's CGI. They didn't show anything off with that, but that's a Microsoft first-party game, and I'm already seeing ads for it on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's weird to me, but everyone's really hyped about Redfall. They really are, for a game that we haven't seen any gameplay for. I wanted to quickly talk about that. I don't want to end the show. We keep talking about math. Sorry, guys. It might be a long show, this one. And gents, if you have to step out, do let me know. I will bring it to a close. But I do want to talk about Redfall, man.
Let's go 2 more hours, guys. Come on.
It's 2 hours. Let's do it. Let's go. But people say, look, it's CGI. What's the big deal? But, Arcane Austin are working on it. And they're incredibly talented. Incredibly talented. But what you can glean from CGI is stuff like tone. You can see what they're going for. Previously,
you get a rough draft for what it's the setting is. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So you get an idea of what they're going for. When the leaks came out, we thought vampire game. I don't give a damn about that. But look at the vampires. If you watch the trailer, look at how. Oh, there's no sound there. But look at.
See, a lot of people are saying it looks like Fortnite. It has like this Fortnite type of scale.
I don't understand that.
It kind of does the color palette. I love the Order 1886, that world. If they would have went with that serious tone, I think this would have hit a lot different to a lot more people, more so. But it looks really good. I thought that was a nice surprise. I think they should have started off the show with that, honestly.
With Redfall?
Redfall. Like, hey, there's a new IP concept for it, and then just end it with the multiplayer for Halo. That would have been a better way. But it was fine, though.
Yeah, this looks amazing to me. Like, it got me really hyped. If a CGI trailer is getting you hyped, then it's doing a very good job. Dutch, what are your thoughts on Redfall?
Again, much like Contraband and much like Starfield, because I haven't seen much of it, I don't have much of a massive opinion on it so far. Yeah. The one thing that Xbox could have done better for me for the show as a whole, and I'll comment on it based on just that, is they produced a lot more after show information on the days that followed with additional shows that they didn't announce in the main show. At the end of the main show, they should have said, like, listen, we've got another show coming up in a couple of days. It's going to be the extended one where we talk to developers. We've also got, today, we had the Sea of Thieves one, where they deep dived into the Sea of Thieves expansion. And then we also had more on Hellblade, where we got a new Hellblade 2 trailer. And we... and it just so much more information trickled out afterwards in much more extended detail that they could have just told people that at the end. So then people didn't go, all right, well, we didn't see X, Y, and Z. And they were actually, you're going to in about 2 days. Just wait.
They didn't even say that. They didn't say they're going to see it in a couple of days. They didn't communicate as strongly. And you're right. Yeah. Let's show Xbox, man. But they have these big things like the Hellblade 2. What do you see some of the the assets they were working on? Stuff amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Well, Redfall as a whole, I like it. It looks fun. The only thing that I got from it was that it's either solo or co-op open world adventure.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what to make of that, because at first I thought, is this going to be another kind of Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood type of game? Because that's the vibes it was giving us on that trailer.
Yeah.
But then getting the information afterwards that it was a solo or co-op open world adventure, I was like, okay. Well,
how does that fit in? Yeah.
Okay. I'm intrigued. That's what I always give to trailers like that, CGI. If they intrigue me, right? Brilliant. I'm looking forward to learning more. But other than that, I'm never hyped for things that I don't know much about.
Yeah, that's true. Yadani Quezada says King David would be very upset with some of you. We had a very funny chat. Hey, actually, King David actually said he took the fraud alert hat thing on Boomstick Show. He said he'll give me this because he's changed his mind on it. And there are, we talked about it on the show on XNC on Colt East was an incredible show. Where there might be reasons why you don't want to show it because people will copy stuff if you've got really unique ideas, things like that. Mav, aka Fun Speculation, you've been quiet for a little while. I want to talk to you, bruh. Talk to me about Redfall. How sick that look? Are you hyped about this game? Is it just showing CGI? Do you not care for CGI? What's your position on this?
I get hyped for any game that's announced that it's coming to Game Pass. It's like, you know what I mean? Like I get to try it, and okay. I also know that it's Arcane, right? Yeah. So they're proven to, and this is new for Arcane with this co-op, like open world thing they got going on. So there's a lot of things that interest me. I like the vampire settings and stuff like that. Like I like the dark vibe of it. There's a lot that you can take away from the CGI, and I don't really necessarily care that we got a CGI trailer because like with 2 of the new game announcements, we get like Contraband and Redfall, we got CGI trailers. But a lot of people took from the showcase, oh, there's just so much CGI, and that's what some of the people that were kind of crapping on it were saying. But there was a lot of gameplay too, right?
Yeah.
There was a good mix of everything, and not everything has to be the same. You know, you can have your gameplay trailers, you can have your cinematic trailers with that show off like vertical slices. You can have all these different kinds of things. And this was another good thing about the showcase. We had a lot of variety with what types of trailers they showed. And this was one that I thought did a really good job because it kind of explained the world with the CGI trailer. So we kind of took away from it, oh, okay, that looks like a cool like experience. Like I want to learn more about that, right? I want to know more about it. And that was what their goal was with this. So I loved that trailer. It's also makes selfishly, like if I'm to make like a video about something, it makes for good like clips and stuff like that too. You know what I mean?
It does.
A lot of cool stuff that was shown in there. I like that they focus on the different characters. So you kind of got a little bit of like the personality of who they are.
I like characters.
Yeah. They showed the villains. They put a focus on the types of weapons you're going to be using. And it seems like it's kind of class based where, you got your sniper guy, you got your guy with like the wooden stake launcher, whatever you want to call that,
Yeah. Look at the chick with the umbrella though. That purple magic umbrella thing was my highlight for me. That's why I remember all the time. It's just like
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins, but with lasers or something. I don't know. It's just weird.
And the enemies look formidable as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
the vampire designs were really cool.
She caught that wooden spike and just stared, and it's like, oh man, okay, you're not gonna mess around with her,
or the invisible one with the purple little chain thing.
Yep. And I felt kind of like Dutch did at first. I thought this was going to be another one of those like games like we get where we work through a level together and get through it and then go on to the next thing. And you know what I mean? Like kind of like one of these PvE things, Rainbow Six Extraction, kind of vibe.
Oh yeah.
But it seems like this is like going to be, when they said open world afterwards, that has me really intrigued because it could be something unique that we haven't really got to experience before, right? Yeah. So I'm really excited to learn more about this. I trust the devs that are making it, and dude, it's just another game coming to Game Pass, so I have no excuse not to try it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, dude, I'm excited. Now, I do think also, I don't think this game was originally planned to end the show.
Oh, okay.
I think something happened with something that was supposed to end the show. Potentially the Elden Ring trailer.
Nah.
Right? Something like that. And something happened with something that had to end the show. And I think this trailer maybe had been planned to be somewhere else in the show, and they shuffled it around. Because it doesn't make even though this was a big announcement and a big thing, it doesn't make sense for that to be the final thing. Right? Yeah, as excited as I am for it. So I think there was something else that was supposed to be there at the end, and then when it didn't pan out, they put this at the end, but what ended up happening is it put such a focal point on this game now, so it made this game a huge service, right? So I think
that's a good point.
I think it worked out in the end.
Yeah, I think it did. I think that's a good point as well. If Elden Ring got shifted and Jeff Keighley took away the hype from it by getting it on his show, Redfall now has a lot more eyes on it, like you said, because it's the Phil Spencer's one more thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, what do you think? I mean, Asa, to close off the show with your final thoughts on Redfall, the last game that they showed on Xbox's thing. What
the only acceptable CGI trailer to me at E3 was the Outer Worlds 2 because it was funny. I don't know. This isn't even a commentary on Redfall specifically, because Redfall premise is nice. It might turn out to be a good game one day, but it's not close, and I don't take anything from CGI. I know you can say you can see a bit of the setting. The exception is last year. So the obvious advantage of CGI is that it doesn't cost any time for the studio that are making the game. Okay, someone needs to put a brief together, and then you hire someone that makes movies to make a movie.
Yeah.
So I get how they're helpful if you need to pad a show out, because you can have them made by somebody else. But for me, looking at what games are going to excite me, I want to see the games that are going to excite me, not the movies that somebody have made about the games that are going to excite me one day. So Redfall will probably be great, but it's not there for me yet.
Yeah. No, I feel you, and a lot of people will echo that sentiment. I'm generally hyped, but you're right. Hope the CGI looks like what the game is supposed to be, because if it doesn't, that'll be a problem. Dover King, thank you so much for the $2 super chat, because the show was supposed to be 90 minutes, but it was cut shorter. Things always change, like you're right. People don't know. Things go down to the wire for these shows. Huge logistic headache for all these.
Do you know, before it was supposed to be 90 minutes, it was supposed to be a separate Xbox show and Bethesda show. So there's been a lot of chopping around there, but you can understand that they're still at least they've turned up and they've put on a good show for the time that it was on. So
yeah, it was 90 minutes. I mean, I had my time going on our stream and stuff, and I was able to keep track. It's like, because I remember I kept watching it, thinking of with our minds being blown on our stream, and saying, "Oh my gosh, guys, we have like 30 more minutes of this." You know what I mean? Like, I was like, the pacing was just mind blowing with how much they were showing us early. I remember looking at it, I was like, "Oh, we're only 30 minutes into this thing. We've already seen like how many games?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I kept keeping up with the time, and it's like 128 minutes or something. Or sorry, not 128. Like 88 minutes or something. It's like really close to that 90-minute mark.
Yeah. I mean, it was the same. Everyone thought, we're like, wow, there's so much time to go. It's Dodge Knight, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. He says CGI is fine for a reveal. I agree. The only time it's okay, gameplay is essential afterwards. Xbox showed you enough games, Asa, you fiend. Stop being so spoiled.
I mean, I slightly agree on that, Mark. Thankfully, I mean, it would have been much more of an issue if out of those 30 games, half of them were CGI. The fact that it was 3 of the games were CGI out of 30 games. It makes it a lot more easy to take on board. Just like, right, okay, we've got a couple of major reveals of games that are way out. But then the rest, we've got like an abundance of indies and second party and first party, and surprise dropped Forza Horizon on November 9th, and it looks amazing, and Flight Sim, and all of this stuff is just Thankfully, it was padded out with a lot more games, and those CGIs weren't kind of the speaking point.
Yes.
Whereas in prior years, it was more CGI than it was anything to do with games, which is why, again,
so much slack.
Why me, Acer, and even BitCloud are all in the same mind frame, where it's a case of, they look all right, but I can't take anything from it.
Which I completely understand.
CGI
just eye candy. You can't really do much with CGI. Really
can't. I do feel you.
Like I say, Outer Worlds is the exception, because that was hilarious. Like,
that was brilliant.
Obsidian are kings at trailers like that. They did the same with Grounded when that came out. You're looking for the best game of the year. Well, that's such and such. This is just Grounded.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's very hard to get that ironic kind of corporate. But when a corporation does it, it easily falls flat on their face. But Obsidian do really well with that. And I really want to play Outer Worlds 1, so I need to do that. So they did that. All around great show, mad variety. Game Pass is killer. I think Gunstar said it's like 26 or 27 out of 30 games, or something like that. Only 3 games were not on Game Pass. It's an incredible time to be a gamer. And Yodani Quezada with an excellent timing with this $2 super chat says Xbox has games for days. It's a very, very good time to be a gamer, especially an Xbox game, especially a PlayStation gamer, because you've got competition. Finally, PlayStation needs.
Don't say that out loud. They don't like competition, apparently.
They don't. They just want a whitewash, and then all the competition dries up and no one tries. But Sony need PlayStation. They need PlayStation to do well. Sony are still at the throne here. There's now finally some fiery competition, which means we're going to have a fiercely fought-out battle this generation, and it's going to be incredible for no one but us gamers. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Before we go and say goodbye, though, have the gents tell us where they're great content creators. Honestly, all 3 of you, and people need to know where they are. Isla, who is a boss, is going to start linking in the description. Am I spoiled? I think she will do that in the chat. But tell us, Dutch, how was your debut at go live. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, it was good fun, mate. It was good fun. Thank you very much for you and Asa for having me on. Equally, I hope you had just as much fun when you joined us the other week.
Oh yeah, of course.
It was a good laugh. It was a good laugh, and a nice surprise jump in by Colt last minute as well.
Yes, yes. Colt is a lovely guy, man.
Yeah, but no, thank you very much for having us on. Great to chat with Marv and Big Cloud as well, as always. It's always good fun, but yeah, it's been absolutely awesome. So thank you, and everyone in chat as well. Thank you. You've been awesome as well tonight.
And where can people find you, by the way? Let them know.
You can find me on Twitter at Wondering Dutch and on YouTube at Wondering Dutch, the home of my podcast, which is the Midweek Mix-Up, every Wednesday at 7 o'clock BST or 2 p.m. EST.
Nice. Definitely check that out, guys. We were on there last week, and it was good fun. And they had Chris Grinnell as well, who's a former Killzone developer. I make fun of him because he made Killzone, but he hates me for it. But yeah, shout out to him and shout out to the crew. Everyone, Forza Irwin, everyone on Midway Mix-Up. Great guys. Definitely check it out. Big Cloud Gaming, we only recently got to link up, but it's really good. One, it's really refreshing because, forgive me for saying this, but PlayStation content creators are few and far between that we can jive with. You know that, right?
Everybody wants to talk about Phil. I'm like, listen, that's not PlayStation, but okay. That's okay.
Yeah, why is that? I have no idea, but
it's clicks. This is all clicks. That's to a lot of them.
I was clicks, but it's really good to have you on. I hope you had a good time on the show.
Oh yeah, it was good. It was great. I really did. Thank you for having me. I'm about to get you on RGT. One of you guys, if you guys are interested, definitely.
All the time.
Yeah, but thanks for having me. Good talking to Dutch officially. So
yeah,
finally, me and him had like a little crossroads one point.
Yes,
as you talked to him. So we remember that. Everybody else, good talking to you, Asa, Marv, Meth, and yeah, it's good. Thank you.
It's good.
You guys find me at Big Cloud Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Look, listen. This is like when you always get fractures. People don't know people. Like people say, "Oh, this guy's this is this."
Well, it was a weird interaction between him because I dropped the video. He was talking about performance, and then I had this dude say, "Oh, the difference between 1800p and 4K was shadow quality." I'm like, "What's happening? What is going on in this chat right now? What's happening?" Like, that's going up. So no, I gotta go.
No, it happens all the time. People have very opinionated gamers as we are, but we always have it. But the best thing about this is people meet each other and then they come on each other's show. That's the whole. GameOnDaily.com is like that. It's a aggregation.
You need more shows of that because the most shows I see nowadays are echo chambers. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, it's the same thing, and a lot of people get mad about that, but it's honestly how I see it. Like, you know, I don't like to hear the same thing over and over, which is Phil sucks. Let's say Phil sucks times 18 people or 20 people or 5 people or 3. It's like, oh god, it's one of those.
It's good though, and honestly, the synergies here. Every time we bring you, it's just you guys carry the show. So well done, and hopefully, and always happy both of us to appear on every on the shows as well. We don't care. We love talking games, as you can see. I can't shut up. Mav, last but certainly not least, the guy who loves to smell fingers on streams and makes great videos. Don't ask why he's doing that. Mav. And only guy, one of the few guys who actually carried his weight on Apex Legends as well with me. Nice one.
Not according to one of your teammates one day. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
He's like, pick the shield. He's a Middle Eastern friend of mine. He goes like, pick the shield. Hey, pick the shield. He's like, hey, man.
Why are you not using your shield?
Why are you not using your shield? Shout out to him, by the way. Hey, you didn't do well last time. Not you, the other guy. He's a lovely guy, though. But, Mav, tell people where you can find you. Always a pleasure having you on, man. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry I had to step away earlier because somebody kept ringing my doorbell. Like I ignored it.
It's all good.
And then I ignored it again. And then the third time I couldn't ignore it any longer. But it was a blast being here with Dutch and Big Cloud as well. And Gaz and Asa, you guys are always absolutely incredible. And I love when I get the invite. I'm just like, hey, yes, I get to go live.
Oh, thanks,
it's awesome, dude. But if you guys want to see me stream or talk about Xbox stuff, you can check out Fun Speculation on YouTube, also on Twitter, where on YouTube I'll play games, hang out with you guys in the chat, but also on Friday nights we have Xbox Ultimate Podcast featuring the Magnificent Seven, which is our crew, our family that we have a blast with. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern on Friday nights. Then also we have Fun Pop Podcast. We're rearranging the day and time right now, so that's going to be announced soon on when that's coming back. But that's with 3-Bit and Psychonauts. We talk about Marvel, DC, comic books, and more. Also, you can check me out on 4GQ TV with Italian Clowns and those guys over there on Thursdays at 6:30 Eastern. And yeah, dude, just wherever. Sometimes you see me pop up wherever, and you can check out both of these guys' channels as well. Midweek Mix-Up Podcast is severely underrated and needs a lot more subs. Let's get these guys to 1,000. And BitCloud, I've been watching your content for a while, man, over there on YouTube, and it's just completely like straightforward.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that, especially coming from the PlayStation side. So shout out all you guys here. In the chat was amazing chat again as always.
Absolutely. Everyone's going to get sub to these guys, all of them. You will hit 1,000 subs in no time, Dutch. It's just going to happen. It's the grind, man.
It's that initial grind, isn't it? That initial
Yeah. I'm a few away from 1,000 or 10,000, so we're almost there.
Go for it, man.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
I can't wait. We've got to do it together. That's it. We have to do it. The grind is together, man. The videos take a while, the podcast, but at least we have fun doing it. Yeah. So that's
the rewarding part. Is just having fun. The results. That's the rewarding part.
Enjoy the journey, guys.
I've been waiting a little while to get PS Trophy Room back on. I was waiting for a PlayStation event to get them back on the show as well. So BitCloud, whenever PlayStation decide to do it,
hopefully soon. Sure, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone in chat, thank you guys. You guys have been great as well. Mods as well. Isla, you're a beast. Thank you so much for moderating. I saw you heavy moderating that quickly. Some trolls came in. Well done. And Dodge, well done. Asa, tell people where you find your streams, where you're making dank memes. That makes sense.
Everywhere, all over the place. So I'm here every week on Saturday. I've got my own YouTube channel, which has I'm so close to the 50 subscriber mark. That's 50. And I use that as people use Twitch. So it's mostly live content, but also if you've got like a brand new OLED TV or something fancy and you want to see gameplay at its absolute best, there's nowhere on YouTube that has better gameplay than my silly little YouTube channel with no subscribers. So have a look at that. GameOnDaily have a shorts channel as well. So if you're sitting on the can and you want to have a look at something on your phone, subscribe to that. That has pretty much daily content, which is they're all less than 60 seconds. So you'll have to hurry up, but they're good and entertaining. And that's me.
Funny.
Yeah. Well then, yeah, absolutely. And we're ramping up content like we always do. We've got a Battlefield video supposed to be out last week, but the scope creep has come in. It's bigger video than I thought. Should be out Monday. And the next Souls video, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize in advance for it, especially you, Jason Schreier. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, please smash the like button. Please subscribe. Spread the word. And we're going to be seeing you next time on Go Live. Peace.